All right, we're back. We've actually got the automated titles this time. Guys, it is episode 89. Of course, of the Happy Hour, Wine for the People. Of course, the show, the only show left on the internet where we don't take ourselves as seriously as the wines. And it's pretty questionable if we even take wine that seriously at all. Tonight, we have an amazing guest on that has come actually fair way. I'm going to say, of all the guests, Michael here has actually probably come the furthest. I'm going to say in distance, about a solid 3 hours, 2 and a bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
just under 2, but he's how fast you drive.
Guys, Michael's behind one of the most amazing little wine brands that has evolved since, I believe it was established in 2014, and is probably described as the United Nations, actually, of one of the most interesting backgrounds, the establishment of this particular wine brand that actually put food and restaurants first. And then basically reverse engineered wines to suit with flavors around there. But having had a number of Michael's wines before, I can definitely say probably some of the most intriguing and exciting wines to actually come out of, particularly with Clare Valley and Adelaide Hills. Guys, Michael Corbett,
Hey.
Vanguardist Wines. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Very, very kind intro. Thank you very much. Happy to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
But you aren't Aussie. Initially,
I'm not.
I'm
still not.
Still not.
No.
How's the last couple of months been for you then?
Don't know. It's all just been a bit of a blur. We're just doing our thing, get down, bum up. Yeah. I mean, I think as a citizen of New Zealand and a resident of Australia, I think we have some safety nets for us. Haven't tried to push the boundary too far with them yet, but no, I think we're little cousin nations and. I feel confident that if something went wrong, that I'll get looked after or deported.
It's
like, one or the other.
It's like, please deport me.
Yeah.
Please. Come on, I dare you. So you've come from New Zealand, okay, but worked all across the world. We were talking about before, I read earlier today, 20 different vintages from over 9 different wine regions, but you said more accurately now you're at, is it?
25, I think, or 26 maybe. There's about 14 regions, 4 countries.
Jesus. And that is like something that we actually haven't had on the show before in 89 episodes, really discussion around what it's like to actually be a cellar hand in many different countries. And it's one of those things that's really captivating. It's one of the reasons why I first got into wine as well, is the ability to be able to travel, to be able to go overseas. Yeah. And actually, it's one of those things when you go on a holiday in a place, then you go and work in a place.
Yep.
And it's a different level of connection because you share both the good and the shit things.
Absolutely.
With people. And there's no better sort of test than if you love a culture or not than to work vintage there, because they also see the worst of yourself.
Yeah.
Typically.
Many times.
So when did you start?
I started studying in 2003. Which finished in 2006, and I think officially my first vintage was 05.
Was this in NZ?
In Hawke's Bay, yep.
Yep.
Where I spent most of my life between 15 and 20, I guess. 15 and 25. 5 and 25, sorry. So I started vintage officially 05, and then I just started bouncing between New Zealand and Australia in 07, and then I started doing New Zealand, Australia, America, and then I started doing New Zealand, Australia, France, had a break for a while, and then started again.
It is one of those things, like, because I believe you can only do this. So typically, I mean, look, the Northern Hemisphere vintage, the Southern Hemisphere vintage is a thing, but you can do 3 a year, can't you? But there's only specific order, I believe, that you can do it in. I think it starts in South Africa.
Yeah, or the Hunter maybe.
Or Hunter,
pretty close to each other.
Yeah. You could go up, in a number of years, Hunter Valley will actually start their vintage in the prior year.
Yeah.
So they've actually got special dispensation from the Australian government to say if they're harvesting December, like 2019, it's actually the 2020 vintage.
Yeah.
So they're one of the funny sort of Caesarean calendar, is that what they call it? I don't know. But you could do that, and then you could go across to New Zealand, because New Zealand, of course, is quite later, being much cooler, much colder.
Absolutely.
And then you just wait for the Northern Hemisphere vintage, which you have your pick of whatever you'd like to do. Have you ever heard of someone doing 4?
I did 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
2013, I went Clare, Central Otago, Georgia in the USA.
Georgia?
And France.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Segue, Georgia.
Georgia.
Was that awesome or not?
It was a really interesting experience, and there was a lot of cool and bad. I nearly stayed there. I was close to doing. So they have this native. Georgia was the first AVA in America.
Really?
Oh, wow. Hard to believe.
All right, so we do have, there is actually, because we do have a myriad of different people that chime into the show.
Yeah.
And we have a little thing, it's called Getting Basic.
Right.
AVA. What is an AVA?
American Viticultural
Area.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the first recognized, I guess. So when they have it on a label, it means something.
Yeah. I can't
What does it mean?
I can't remember when it was, but you know, when they started AVAs, Georgia was the first or one of the first, and there's a local native grape called muscadine, and it has some characters like you can imagine muskets and all those sweet aromatic qualities. But the funny thing about muscadine, it was really ripe and ready to go at about 7 Beaumain, so 7 degrees of alcohol. So we were making these really great, what I thought were really interesting wines that were naturally light, ripe, beautiful acidity, super aromatic, not very stable as far as quite a lot of oxidation happens with them. But with only 7% of alcohol, and I thought, well, this is going to be a game changer. Let's start making some spritzy 7% alcohol wines.
Shit, yeah.
It's like make wine coolers, but
Are you
with some
having
integrity.
Oh, it is?
Let's go to New York.
Well, yeah.
This is awesome.
Crazy.
This is brilliant. Why isn't this a thing?
I mean, it's waiting to happen. It's literally
We could
waiting
make
to
this happen.
We could.
We could. I mean, do you know if the variety's present in Australia?
I don't know if it's. I doubt it, and but I don't know. I mean, surely we could get some over here.
Because I imagine Georgia, and I've not been to Georgia. Georgia's one of the places in the States I really, really, really want to go.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm like a country music tragic,
Yeah.
complete tragic.
Should definitely go.
Yeah, that's right. It's like this is the reason why I live here now.
Yeah.
But I imagine Georgia must be very sort of a little bit more like New South Wales.
Yep.
I would have thought it was a little bit wetter, a little bit more humid.
Definitely.
You know, it's known for being quite swampy and stuff like
Yep.
that. I do wonder whether, you know, something like is it muscadine? Is that how they
Muscadine,
say
yeah.
it? It's not muscadine.
No.
It's it's really specific. Muscadine.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you imagine that coming from Queensland though?
Absolutely.
How
Yeah,
sick would that be?
it'll work.
A little bit of the old granite belt muscadine.
Yeah.
Muscadine. It sounds terrible. Let's just call it muscadine. It sounds way better. at least in our English, the Queen's English. So you were in Georgia. You were doing that. So what was your experience making 7% spritzy fun little things?
Yeah, it was exciting, and I was at a point in my career where I was like, what do I want to do? Do I want to make wine in France because I've been there for a few years, Australia, New Zealand, and then had this opportunity over in Georgia making these wines, and I thought, man, we could do something really cool that's never been done, and kind of like wine coolers, but from the first AVA, and start trying to create a different image for Georgia. And then I just said, no, I fucking love Grenache. And I went back to France.
It's fair call, actually.
Like, no, the transaction was very much financially derived to stay in Georgia.
Oh, right.
Great opportunity.
Getting paid pretty well.
Paid well, and just
great lifestyle.
Create something totally new. But I just thought, I just miss making the best wines that I can make with a variety that I love.
Yeah.
Or varieties that I love and regions that I love. So I thought, I'm going to just give away that to try and probably be rich. So I wasn't about it. Jumped on a plane and went to France and did my 4th vintage for a year.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So from working in all of these places overseas, and something that I love to ask people that have spent a lot of time overseas, why Adelaide? Why not Victoria? Why not Melbourne? Why not Heathcote? Why not, why specifically Adelaide? And by the way, why Clare Valley?
Yeah. Pretty easy. I came to South Australia for Grenache.
Yep.
Because in the Southern Hemisphere, without having made wine in South Africa and maybe a couple of other places that might do some Grenache, in the Southern Hemisphere, I think, it's quite proven that I think that South Australia in particular, maybe the Vale and maybe in particular Blewett Springs, has what I consider to be the style of Grenache that I'd love to make for the rest of my life. But I actually was in the Hunter where we started the brand in 2014, and I came over looking for both Riesling and Grenache because they're 2 varieties that I love to make. And I planned on taking them back to the Hunter. So I planned on picking them, cold transport, back to the Hunter and then keep doing my Semillon over there, which I also love.
Yeah, right.
And do that. And then I came over, had never been before, did a little sales trip with our first wine and met some people, got overwhelmed by walking into like Orana. I think that was the first place I sold wine to in South Australia.
It's
and
pretty awesome, pretty dope spot.
Yeah, it was exciting. It's kind of like all above my head, and it was awesome. And the first people I met were Fraser McKinley and BK.
Hell yeah.
Through my
awesome
business
people.
partners.
Yeah.
And then BK said, check this guy out about some vines.
Of course, and they're both Kiwis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Why are you guys so damn good at making wine?
No, just in the blood.
Yeah, right. So from there, it's sort of like, so you had a solidified base here. Absolutely love Grenache, and obviously it's this is the real sort of hub of Grenache.
Yeah.
The Vale though has a reputation for Grenache. What led you to Clare Valley then?
Riesling.
Yeah, really. So the pull for you is stronger. Could you pick one? Could you pick one of the two kids? You'd actually go.
Grenache, yeah. Grenache.
You'd always go Grenache.
Yeah.
That's obviously what took you to France away from Georgia.
It's taken me probably a few years to get to that point. But now that I'm playing around with rosés and Petnat rosés and Grenache at 12.5% alcohol and Grenache at 14, now I'm like, I could just make this one varietal for the rest of my life and feel really content.
So you're gonna like drop off the rest of like no more Riesling, no more anything. Are you gonna become one of those like hermits on the hill that just makes their little Pinot, except your Pinot is Grenache?
Possibly.
Wow.
There's some new exciting stuff happening.
Why
as well.
Grenache? Like I'm fascinated now. Like you're from a place originally.
Yep.
We accept you as our own. You are our own, but that has very little in the way of Grenache.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get so over the moon with it? And why not Pinot? Why not Nebbiolo? There's Pinophiles and Epiphiliacs and Grenache, something or other. You, Vanguardist.
It is, man.
Like,
so when I was in New Zealand making wine in Hawke's Bay, I worked in just about all the wine regions in New Zealand. And my first trip to France in 2009 was as a flying winemaker for the Le Ton company. And I used to fly fish a lot in New Zealand, and I had, we think about New Zealand, clean, green, lots of water, but the rivers were starting to get a bit destroyed through dairy farming.
Yeah.
So there was not only pollution from dairying, but they were pulling a lot of water out for irrigation. So there was marginal areas that they were using as dairy farms, and as beef fattening farms, because they were just pulling water out of rivers or out of reservoirs and irrigating the shit out of it.
It's like the Riverland of New Zealand.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
But it happens everywhere. And we just sort of took it as a right, a God-given right, and rivers were getting dammed up. So I had this real issue with, overuse of water and not being a sustainable resource.
Yep.
Went to the south of France, down in the Mediterranean, pure black schist, hills like this, 40 degrees, hotter than I've seen before, or at least as hot as I've seen before. Beautiful bush vines, green, healthy, no irrigation whatsoever. I'm like,
all Grenache.
Fucking that's it. That's got to be the variety. If there's something that sustainably that we can do, that's not going to, use a lot of water, which I still have an issue with, but I had a real issue with at the time as we were fighting against rivers being dammed. I'm like, this is something that I can back for sure.
Shit, yeah.
It's standing in front of me, and there was obviously Carignan and Mourvèdre and stuff that were doing
pretty
really
good
well
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was Grenache that was like the shining light for you.
It was just like, this is something I can focus on, and then we started making it, and then we made it in a whole lot of different ways. I'm like, this is Pinot for me, but it's better because we can make it like Pinot, but we can make that Vin de Naturel. We can make fortified wines, and
it's very diverse.
Yeah,
and it's always had that level of diversity as well.
Yeah,
it's actually really interesting seeing even different clonal examples outside of Grenache, what you see of the southern France. But if you jump into even in Spain, or particularly in Italy as well, where it's known as Alicante it's not Alicante Boucher, but just straight up Alicante is a moniker for Grenache.
Yeah.
They'll do like 100% whole bunch, work in places like Tuscany with Grenache, and it's just mind-bogglingly delicious.
Yeah.
And just a completely different example. But jumping straight into the comments, Lucky George, Christina, Kerry, Sue, Supersonic Turtle 02, thank you very much for chiming in. G'day, guys. Way to bring some big vintage energy to the show. Yes, I know. Glenvian, like a West Coast cooler. That is the soundbite of tonight. I am absolutely sure. Henry Carter, awesome to see Vanguardist on the show. Thanks for chiming in, Henry. Geoffrey, I believe that's how I pronounce your name. Forgive me, on Twitch. I've never heard of Vanguardist brand. Are they exported to the US?
No, we're too small.
But you might be able to change that. Let us know who you see bringing in really shit hot Aussie booze, and let them get in touch. Seriously, they're absolutely awesome. I mean, if there's actually enough to buy.
Hopefully not. If we do a good job selling it, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But I remember in 2017, you did an interview with someone and you said by 2020 we hope to be a 1,500 case brand. I want to know, it's 2020.
Yeah.
Did you get there?
We went past it.
Oh.
And then we've gone backwards.
Oh.
The swings and roundabouts has us, I think in 2020, we would be at probably 1,700 cases. Or thereabouts in 2020,
right.
which is not bad after a couple of big losses. We lost our whole white program, so we've gone from a 50-50 white and red brand to 100% red in the space of 6 weeks last year.
Do you know that's the opposite problem we have at Unico? We need more red, like desperately.
Yeah.
We make like way too much. Everyone's like, man, it's winter, I want some reds. And I'm like, the only reds we make are like 12% alcohol and really high acid.
Delicious,
I don't think you want reds right now.
Perfect for summer, slightly cool.
But is this going to feed into that narrative of, are you just going to be like, you know what, stuff it, don't worry about whites, going to do Grenache?
Yeah, it's probably around about
I reckon it's so cool, by the way.
December, I was like, no, that's all I'm going to do. I spoke to my business partners in Burgundy and said, look, I'm going to take this as a blessing in disguise, and I'm just going to focus on Grenache and try and be that guy.
Yeah, do it.
And that's
just
our brand.
Just Claire Grenache as well.
No, so all of the Grenache is coming out of the Vale.
Out of the Vale.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So I've played with a lot of Grenache and Claire and do some other projects for other people.
Because there's a bit of pretty cool looking Grenache up there.
Yeah.
But it's not Vale Grenache.
It's not
very
Vale
different.
Grenache. And it's, look, I think there's that real divide in South Australia with really old vines that are probably port clones.
Yes, very much.
And they throw really big berries and quite big bunches. And they make very soft and beautiful, elegant wines, but they probably don't have quite the drive and the intensity that I'm looking for with Grenache, from my experiences.
It's actually really interesting. Outside of Grenache, I'm not sure if you've ever noticed this, but winemakers, when you lead them into a vineyard and they've got the little fist clusters, you know, you always see a winemaker doing, oh, they look like this. Like, the winemakers lose their minds at little grenades of grapes. You know, no one wants to see these big, you know, massive things, except if you're up in the Riverland.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, you're dealing with a lot of obviously very large wineries. And now you've set a soundbite, and I don't mean to bring up sort of old ghosts here, but I love this. You started this to fight overly commercialized wines produced by corporates who take up all the elbow room.
Yeah.
That is one of the coolest and most honest expressions, I think, of being a small artisan winemaker in Australia. It is really tough.
Yeah.
Has always been really tough to be able to break in. Was that always an intentional thing? Because of course, like you'd worked in Australia before, and worked in New Zealand, but like starting up a winery here, outside of the going up against the commercial guys, what other motivations did you have to make wine for yourself?
I think that quote came from Ali, who's now over in France. She's Australian, married to Edouard, and they live in Burgundy now. So I can't take credit for that.
Okay.
However,
it's
we
awesome.
really believe in it. You know, together. When she came with that, I was like, wow, that's why you're on the team. We're going to use that for the rest of our lives too. Sorry, I've got sidetracked. What are we talking about?
So starting.
Oh, why do we start our wine?
Yeah.
I think it was just time, and we actually tried. So in 2013, when I was over in Central Otago in Wanaka, we actually tried to start the brand then. So it was still the three of us. We met in 2012 when they were in Hawke's Bay. As was I for my last vintage over in Hawke's Bay. But we said, look, we share some likeliness about wine, and we have similar visions and philosophies. We don't know where we're going to end up, but how about we do something together? Now, on the back of this, Ali is just finishing her Master of Wine business here. Edouard was going back to finish his Master of Wine business in Bordeaux. And I was like, well, if I can grow and make wine and you guys can sell it, this is like the fucking dream team. Yeah. Hasn't quite worked out like that, but
that's something that's really unique about Vanguardist, though.
Yeah. We didn't have too many rules. We didn't know how it was going to pan out. We probably still don't know how it's going to pan out. And we've got some really, really cool projects happening in New Zealand and France right now on the back of what we're doing in Australia, just because of where we've ended up.
Grenache and Bone.
Yeah, we've made some Grenache in the south of France last year, so
that's really exciting.
It's really hard with what's happening in the world of travel to get that to where we need it, but we haven't given up on it just yet. And if it's not this year, we've got hopefully a few more in front.
There's always another vintage. There's always another vintage. Well, let's get some wine in glasses. You've brought a couple of blind tasting wines. I'm really quite. Okay, that's cool. We got more glasses coming. Don't stress. We're going to make this tough. Well, for me primarily, I guess. Sorry, Jeffrey. My name's pronounced Jeffrey, not Gaffrey. Apologies, Jeffrey. Very unique spelling there. I'm sure you probably are sick to death of actually explaining that to people. Riesling has always been my go-to wine. Do they make any? Actually, they did until this year. It's one of his favourite grape varieties. In fact, one of our favourite grape varieties. It's actually really interesting in Clare Valley. It's always been known that if a German was asked to plant Riesling in Australia, anywhere, and they had like no holds barred, open budget, they would never choose Clare Valley.
Yeah, right.
Because it's so hot.
Yep.
It's so and Riesling is quite wimpy in the heat, but for some reason Clare is just an enigma. It seems to cope really, really well. Do you know much about isohydricity?
No.
In grapevines?
No.
I'm going to throw big words at you. Sorry.
Sounds good.
So isohydricity is the reason why that Grenache looks so vibrant even in the heat.
Yeah, right.
Because it's one of the few grape varieties that actually stomata, it can actually close its stomata, as opposed to Syrah, Chardonnay, most French varieties, with the exception of a few from the south, that have evolved in very dry and hot, and that's actually an odd thing. It sounds really odd to say it's both dry and hot. Elevated temperature with no moisture in the air, because where a lot of grapevines where it typically is warm, it will actually be quite humid. To a degree. Where grapevines have evolved in places that are both dry and hot, they actually have evolved an adaptation called isohydricity, so the ability to be able to respond to a lack of, or to a high amount of aridity, closing the stomata, preventing evapotranspiration, holding on to water, and that makes them so supremely better in the heat, and that's the reason why we focus on things like Nero and Fiano and other isohydric grape varieties that can actually cope.
Has that
Perhaps. It was actually a very, very new thing. So when we started in 2012, it was only 2 years after they'd actually figured this out. And you got to think, no one's really researching grapes that hard to the degree that there's more research being done on, genomics and Shiraz, trying to get Shiraz to grow in places where Shiraz just shouldn't grow. It's or we could just change the grape variety. That would be better. Glenn, WCC in reference to the Muscadine. Sorry, forgive me. I don't know acronyms that well. TLAs, 3-letter acronyms. WCC. I want to know what that is. Oh, West Coast Cooler. West Coast. How was that?
Nailed it.
They're making Shiraz in the false. So Grenache and Bone could be a thing soon. Could well be. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Grenache and Bone. But while I'm trying to guess this, which is a wine that you've kindly brought us, and I'm going to shove the comments down so Noah can let y'all know what we're drinking. Tell us, Vanguardist. Is you a Kiwi? I mean that endearingly. Australian and a Frenchman. How did?
Or walk into a pub.
And this is what I've heard as United Nations. Is it how you've described yourself, or is it how other people have described you guys?
I haven't described myself like that, but that's how I think there might have been some commentary that.
Does Edouard feel left out during the Tri-Nations?
I don't know. Well, who does he bat for? His mother is from Argentina. And he's 12th generation Burgundy family on his father's side.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. That's it. I was always
he bats for Argentina.
Just so he can be a little bit controversial amongst the family.
He loves rugby, and it's probably more exciting.
See, it was always the joke was always that there's a couple of Aussies in the bar, and they all hate the Kiwis until a Brit walks in the bar. Then they all hate the Brits until a Frenchman walks in the bar. And they all hate them until the American walks in the bar, and that's the end of the joke. This is interesting. We should start the game again, Noah, where I have to write it down, because I feel if I power move, it gives you an unfair advantage in selecting
is it?
Because like my mind immediately goes to one place with this wine. Immediately one place, and that's I'm not going to reveal it. But if I could write it down, I feel like it would be fair. Okay. But
just say what it is, bro. Just let us know what you think it is.
It feels Rhone. It feels French. It feels old world Grenache dominant blend. Like a really cool like GSM. That's where like my immediate reaction to this goes. But first and foremost, red.
Yes.
Boom.
All right. Good start. I want to hand it over to you, Michael.
We have gotten it wrong.
You can sort this one out.
Oh yeah, you want to play this? Yep, cool. We're playing.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want to see the vintage.
Oh yeah, he's getting a reminder of vintage. This is looking sharp. Like I like this.
Yeah, I
like
do
this.
too. I bought.
This is so closed. This is so.
It did come out of the cellar quite cold, so it's probably it's quite cold here.
No,
so.
but I think it's. I mean, it's closed, but I think closed as in young.
Yeah.
As in, I think this whatever this is, it's got a decent amount of years left in it.
Yeah.
To really flesh out, it's so incredible.
For sure. So old world, new world.
Old world.
Correct. France, Italy, Spain.
France.
Correct.
Looking so good right now. Watch me fuck it up.
Are we in the Loire, the Roussillon, or the Valley of Rhone?
Ooh, nice one, man. The inclusion of Roussillon really threw me. Because if that's Loire, I'll be surprised. Pleasantly surprised. It's a good wine. I know there's something about and this rule for those that are like playing at home that are listening to this as a podcast to try and describe why sort of I got to here. Firstly, tannin structure led to red wine. There is a elegance and finesse to the acidity of this wine, plus the tiniest little like kiss of Brett, but it's really like minuscule. Like it is so minute, it's not funny. So that kind of leads me to believe that it's probably going to be old world if it's of this style. I've already got an inkling of the variety anyway in my head, so I kind of like think that this is the way that this variety typically looks from that country. I think the tough decision here is between Roussillon and Rhone. And for me, Roussillon wines, and this isn't necessarily a rule, Roussillon's in like Languedoc-Roussillon, which is southern part of France, in the deep south. There is typically a rusticity to those wines. That's not to say they're not elegant, they're just of a different ilk, a little bit maybe ballsier tannin, a little bit richer and denser. I think this is not like that. This is actually a very finessed example, but there's something about the fruit weight that's really sort of making me sort of twitch. So I'm going to actually go Roussillon.
Should have stuck with you first.
It was right,
Never
was it?
changed.
Never changed. Go with your gut. Okay, the elegance is definitely there.
Different. I mean, a difficult question because we're talking about mostly the same varietals, and down in the longer.
But they're getting better. They're getting good.
Well, that's where I spend all my time making wine.
Yeah, right.
One vintage in the Languedoc and another 5 in the Roussillon. So.
Yeah, right.
And the soils and terroirs are absolutely incredible, and there's so many great wines.
Underrated.
Oh, yeah.
Severely underrated. Probably some of the best deals of French wine. If you find them in Australia, always try that. It's sort of like trying some of the stuff out of Spain where you're like, how can this possibly be $10 a bottle? And you're like, just try it. It's actually really good wine. They just don't ask a lot of money for their wines. Same thing along with Roussillon.
Yeah.
All right, so it's Rhone.
So we are in the Rhone, and is it a blend or a straight?
I think it's a blend.
It is.
I think it's a Grenache dominant blend.
It is indeed.
Which means it's from the south.
It is. It's not from Châteauneuf.
No, I don't think so.
It's from an appellation that's not nearly as common in Baume de Venise.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's still, technically part of the Mediterranean climate and part
Isn't
of
that
the Rhone Valley.
Isn't there a muscat there that's native to there?
Absolutely,
Muscat de Baume's
so
Venise?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, wow.
Muscat Baume de Venise, and then I think more recently they became a IGP for table reds, like a few of those.
Yeah, right.
They always had the fortified, the Vin de Natural tag, but they've more recently, like down south where I'd worked, become a red producer as well.
Oh, this is looking dope.
Any idea on vintage?
Look, it looks young. it looks young, which means that, I mean, whatever it means, I don't even know what it means. It means there's a lot of life left in this wine. Like, I would want to see this in a cellar for a solid 10, 15 years and see what it really gave me, because I really think it's going to flesh out and it's going to showcase some amazing aromats. I'm going to take a stab at 2017.
Close, it's 16. But I agree, I think it's quite tightly wound, and whether that's a bit because of the temperature or just where the wine's at. I mean, I feel like when I've had this wine in the past that it felt a little bit more fleshier, but this one feels quite tightly wound. And
I mean, ambient Gamaraka is like -2 or 3 or something like that.
Similar to Claire.
Exactly. Similar to Claire. All right, speaking of Claire, well, firstly, let's have a look at what the wine looks like.
Yeah.
So
this is one of Gardy's wines. So this is
nice.
cool, quite a natural producer, and it's organic and biodynamic certified, I believe. And they sort of have around 10 or 20 parts of total sulfur in these wines. So for a wine of that ilk to be so precise and clean, I think it's an amazing job.
Super smart wine, man. Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing that. That's really cool. That's I would consume a lot of that. Does anyone have like a ballpark like price on this? You want to have a quick gander? Because like this is one that I'm always a fan of, like a good deal, good bargain when it comes to these things. I think people should drink better wines at home for cheaper.
I'm guessing this is around 30 or 40.
Yeah, it's not. From what I found, it's actually not that expensive.
That's case buying quality. Yeah. That is at that price point, and that sort of like I would gladly see a case in that.
They have one wine above it. It comes off 100-year plus vines.
Shit, man.
A bit more expensive, but.
I want to know from people at home, what are your experiences with Grenache? Because I think Grenache, for wine people, Grenache is a thing we like to brag about. We've been bragging about it since, I guess, 2010, maybe a little bit early, 2008. And, you know, it was relatively sort of undiscovered in Australia. I think as a sole variety, it was always seen as like the softer version of a Shiraz, as opposed to where its rightful place is one of the noble grape varieties. But I want to know from people at home, like, we're wine nerds. You guys, some of you are wine nerds, some of you are on your nerdy path. But I would like to know what you guys actually think of Grenache, and how do you think it stacks up against Pinot? Do you think it's actually got the hoo-has to be able to?
So.
And
if you don't, you're wrong. You just don't know yet.
So being a winemaker centralized in Clare Valley, we take a bit of fruit in ourselves from Clare Valley. One of the things that I am constantly surprised by is, you know, we have this thing in our heads about Riverland being hot and heavily irrigated and stuff like that. But I've never seen heat waves take hold as much as they take hold in Clare Valley. What is your experience with it?
It's scary, to be honest. Like
it's gnarly.
So the Riesling we made wine from until this vintage, we haven't released the 19 yet, but we will release that shortly. It was dry grown, you know, so we had a dry grown vineyard, planted in 69, so around about 50 years old. And it was tough, you know, it was tough. We did a biodynamic program in that vineyard, and we gave it all the love we could give it and did rain dances and stuff. But 18 and 19, and I know I wasn't making the wine at 20, but 18 and 19 were brutal. We got very lucky that at the start of the 18 season we had water on the ground. Which sort of held us through, and we made, you know, some really nice wines. And 18 and 19 was just a struggle from start to finish. There was no water to be had.
I've never ever seen 21 Beaumet Shiraz in my life before. And reports were coming out, like when we see a heat wave happen in the Riverland, it's always consistently hot in the Riverland. Sometimes it's better to be consistently hot than to be like consistently cold with a massive hot day. Like, because vines, I think for the season, just aren't equipped enough with enough resilience for it. And, you know, you can't anticipate it. It's sort of like getting like a black frost. You know, early in the season. Getting a really sort of late heat wave is one of the most detrimental things. But 21 Beaumet, that's a 20.
With the de-alcoholized so it can be a port.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. Like, how is this even quantified? And it was actually really interesting. Because in Australia, the rules changed after that. I think the rules changed at the back end of 2018 that you're allowed to add water. But only you're allowed to add water to wine. You can Jesus juice this shit. Yeah, seriously, no, really. You're allowed to. It's complete. Yeah. Apparently, the line that came out of it, that was like, for me, it was like it brought us in line with more traditional winemaking countries like America.
Wow.
I mean, Muscadine. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you can do it, and it was because of all of these. You know, it was largely because of Clare Valley. You know, because there's a lot of large wineries up in Clare Valley that are producing a hell of a lot of Shiraz under conditions where they're just not really built for it. And it's such the most amazingly...
And they want to legally be able to do it rather than illegally do it like they were doing.
They were doing it before. I mean, everyone was kind of doing it anyway. They just wanted to, they were like, oh, look, you know, now
it's better if we weren't breaking the law when we're doing this.
21% alcohol, potentially, maybe we, you know, it looks weird when you make 1,500 litres of wine from a ton of grapes. I'm just saying. The maths doesn't really equate, but it's hellishly profitable. All right, comments coming in from Grenache. Love Grenache, is my go-to. Christina Griffiths from the Heartland as well. Another lovely Kiwi joining us. Karen Mickle, Grenache. Karen, thanks for joining us again. You're the awesome Karen from last time. Grenache, I really should drink more of it. Take it over Pinot every day. But why? Why? Why do you? I mean,
Nick Ryan said it well. It's basically poor man's Pinot.
Yeah,
we can
Pinot,
but great Grenache at that sort of 20 to 25, and it's not. We know it's not easy to make great Pinot at 20 to 25 because of its difficulties in the vineyard and stuff. So maybe that's a good reason to start.
It's a really interesting grape variety with its acidity as well.
Yeah,
because it can drop.
Yeah,
like it can. The grapevine itself can look horrendously beautiful, but the fruit itself, it likes to drop its acidity sort of in odd regularities as well. Do you reckon that's a port clone thing?
It probably is more port clone, but it's notoriously low TA, but low pHs. And for me, all I care about is pH.
pH is king.
I can give it next to no sulfur or no sulfur and know that we've got some pretty secure wines because pH is low.
It's interesting that sort of focus on pH being a winemaker that I'll happily say is more hands off. You and actually, to be honest, like going through sort of a lot of your background, you know, you've had and openly admitted your opinion on things like biodynamics has changed. Like you've actually come from a very sort of I'm not going to say corporate winemaker. It's not like that. It's more so about just we all get trained the same way to look at the numbers, to do yeast cell counts and all that crap. You realize very quickly that you kind of don't need that. No. But even like, you know, the way that you're crafting wine at the moment with just hell-bent on a sustainable sort of outcome, you know, hell-bent on being able to showcase a particular site. When it comes to things like understanding the right numbers, you're probably one of the few people that have come on this show that has actually sort of like used I said a P word, pH. But it's probably the most important. We get hung up on Beaumet, we get hung up on alcohol, we get hung up on all these other things, but pH literally is the common denominator that all of this stuff should be done by. So how have you found, you know, you don't own any vineyards?
No.
Yeah, so how have you found getting growers to focus on pH? Because I know that my growers don't, it's like trying to get a brand new concept across is so hard. But not just that, but biodynamics as well. All of these other, you know, what I would deem to be quite progressive things. How do you find getting growers to do that for you?
Yeah, it's a dangerous game, and I mean we found it firsthand last year when not so much with the Adelaide Hills fruit that, you know, burnt down, which was a huge shame, but the sale of the Riesling vineyard, you know, we're at risk, and now we're at really high risk because we don't have much spread anymore. But basically, you know, they were really small plots we were working, and I said, look, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but how about I help you run this little portion of vineyard, and I'm going to pay you full price, but I'm going to do heaps of work.
Yeah, cool.
Does that
takes the risk, de-risk it for them, so you can actually take the risk on yourself, financial risk.
Absolutely.
And then you can start to go, hey, this is going pretty well, isn't it? Why don't you roll it out? Yeah,
across the board. So I just work really closely with them. And that's, you know, worked until we lost the vineyard. It's worked really well. We had 2 hectares of Riesling. There was one due west and one due east. And I did a full biodynamic program on that, and it was probably 2 of 15 hectares of Riesling. But I just did my thing. I'll come in during pruning.
What happened in? Sorry, finish off. I've got another question.
That was it. You know, I can get them on side by being in the vineyard, helping do the work, and pay them full price. It's a really fair model.
Yeah, I think it's very fair. I think it de-risks it for them. It gives an opportunity, because it's hard to find these sort of little moments, these opportunities for learnings.
Yeah.
In I guess the transactional way we often deal with growers, it's basically, you know, you're purchasing fruit. You're not necessarily taking on the ownership and running of vineyards.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, because you say, you know, mentioned a couple of times, Luke, you know, lost a vineyard and stuff like that. It's actually really interesting. This year we did too, in Clare.
Yeah, right.
And it was a white vineyard. What happened? Was there like a fire sale of vineyards that happened this year in Clare?
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a rather large family brand up in Clare that I reckon they purchased, you know, maybe close to a couple of 100 hectares in a short amount of time. I'm not sure, or maybe 100 hectares. You know, I don't know what the actual number is, but there was a couple of big vineyards and a couple of small vineyards that were.
So what happens there? I mean, because I'm going to assume very generously, big family-owned company comes in, understands the plight of the small grower, and says, you know what, don't stress, we'll still supply you. It's fine.
No. No, I didn't even enter negotiations, to be honest, because I think I know what the answer was, and it was either bending over pretty hard.
So it's basically accept like a really high price, or I'm sorry, but you can't. And you're very passionate about the way that your vineyards are run as well.
So I mean, I just spent 3 years doing these biodynamics and working closely with the grower and looking at whether we till or we don't till under the vine and all that sort of stuff. And we were just, you know, learning together and using his experience and my experience with doing that. And then it probably just would have gone away. So once I lose that ability to go in and do that in the vineyard, it's kind of
pointless.
It's just it would just be a transaction, and I'd lose any control. You know, not control, but I'd have that input would be lost. So
obviously with you know, with this going on in Clare Valley, and obviously Riesling brought you up there, do we see like a move of Vanguardist to McLaren Vale? Do we see, you know, Adelaide Hills? Will we own you guys? We can go Riesling here, man.
Pick up a cellar door and put in Piccadilly. That'd be killer.
Yeah, well, I mean, 1st of November last year, we opened a cellar door wine bar in the main street of Clare, right?
Jesus.
So the Vanguardist wine room, that happened with my partner up in Clare. And we've sort of used her building design skills to renovate an old town hall.
I've seen photos. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Amazing.
It's a lovely space, and it's very different for Clare. So we have that. But yeah, I think we probably are looking to migrate a little further south.
He's going to say Barossa.
Well, bearing in mind I've been leasing a winery in Sevillesfield the last couple of years.
There you go. And they make some pretty good Grenache there, I hear.
They make some great Grenache. I don't know if I'm looking to make... There's a small vineyard of interplanted Grenache Syrah, Mourvèdre, Alicante, Boucher at the winery, a bit under a hectare, which yielded about 260 kilos this year.
Big numbers.
But that's it's a lovely, you know, it's been organic for a long time, and it fits the bill to bush vines as well, so it's really cool. So we might make that wine, but probably not looking for any other fruit in the Barossa at this point. But just engaged a fairly large project for me personally as a consultant winemaker in the Barossa, which started just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, cool. Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm now teaming up with Whistler.
Cool.
To help them do some of their stuff. So, you know, another brand that does really cool things, and yeah, excited about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did they recently sell?
They went on the market, and I'm not sure how on the market they still are, but it's not sold
with everything in, you know, the last couple of months.
I think it looks quite positive
pre-COVID.
Where it's at now, I just it's above my pay grade. So yeah, Josh is wants to do a bit of traveling with his family while they're young, and
understandable pre-COVID as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I think he's taking a little bit of a
hiatus,
hiatus to his camping with his young family. So yeah, we've just done a little handover, and I'll help get all his wines to bottle that we made in 19 and 20, which look great, and we'll see what happens in the next few months. So yeah.
Brilliant. We'll jump in straight into the comments. Sue Bond, we drank a Grenache over the weekend, 2018 from Franklin River.
Oh, yeah, cool.
WA, man. WA Grenache is pretty cool. 100% Grenache. Wasn't that keen on it the first night, but when we finished it the next day, it softened, liked it much better. Craig liked it, no reservations. a pretty understandable like Grenache, and especially sort of 2018. I'm not too sure on the age of the vineyard. Frank, like everything in WA is actually relatively young, so I've no idea about clone, but
Except in Swan Valley.
So except in Swan Valley, that's very true. There is actually some outrageously old Grenache. Noah's like dead right there in Swan Valley, like 100-year-old Grenache. I reckon that's a sleeper. Maybe just like pick up WA's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
sunsets over the water. They talk a little bit slower there. P.S. I'm more of a Pinot Noir person. Favorite is Alec Epis from Macedon region. That's pretty cool, actually. Pinot from Macedon. That's. I mean, they're trying pretty hard there to be able to grow Pinot, but I imagine it would actually. Pinot always actually exceeds everyone's expectations when it's grown in a place where people struggle to grow it.
Yeah,
it's one of those sort of marginal grape varieties. Like winemakers pull their hair out about Pinot, to be honest. Nebbiolo as well, and I'm sure Grenache. All winemakers pull their hair out. That's why Laura makes our wine. She has lots of hair. Drinking a little giant Grenache. Can I ask what sort of price per tonne? Was the vineyard okay with a hands-on understanding? Few growers like to do their own thing. Do you teach them things along the way, like decent pruning and stuff like that? I mean...
yeah, look, I mean, these were old vineyards, they're 50, so let's talk about the Grenache vineyard in the Vale. I work really closely with Mr. Robert Rendy, now 52 years old. He planted this with his father when he was like 9 years old or 7 years old. So I'm not going to walk in and go, oh, yeah, no, you should be doing things like this. You know, there's no way that would hold any.
Fly.
Yeah, no, it'd be crazy. So we've just been slowly trialing some things, and then, you know, we're looking at there's about 4 hectares of Shiraz, and I don't know if I've rubbed off on him, but now he believes that, which are also 50 years old as well. But we're going to start replanting all of that Shiraz across to Bushvine Grenache.
Nice.
We're taking cuttings and building our own nursery this year, and we'll be planting out vines from the original Grenache.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but I mean, it's so exciting. It's so exciting, and I'm so lucky to have that opportunity. I don't know, to be honest, if I lost that vineyard, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do, like as far as winemaking Australia, Vanguardist
would you just go Roussillon?
Maybe, you know. Maybe. It's probably not that easy.
Queensland, Muscadine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna start next.
Exactly. I'll probably go
back to Georgia. All right. Well, we're not going to let you leave. Oh, wait, is this other wine open already?
We can do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do double blinds in 10 minutes.
Michael's actually brought across another wine for blind tasting. Why? I mean, just for fun?
Yeah.
Shits and gigs? Yeah. Awesome, man. No, seriously. He had to clarify beforehand as well, like, if we actually wanted to play the game. He was like, we got to play the game. Let's play the game. So, of course, we're playing blind tasting.
The game.
That is the game. The game.
Like the rapper.
Oh, here we go. Noah's just like, you've just said Noah's. Yeah. Well, this one's interesting. This one's really interesting.
Yeah, what kind?
Yeah, that's the hard. Sorry.
Noah gets to ask the first question.
Yeah.
Red or white?
Red or white?
Red.
Yay!
Well, that's really interesting. Yeah, this one. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
I think we're in very different territory now. If I gave you that, would you better give us a little bit more?
Sorry, the rest of the injured?
That's
I couldn't see how much was in there.
Yeah, you know, it's hard. It's really disorienting. It's really
full or really empty.
Oh, yeah. I brimmed in the other week. It was
just like was up to you. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. This is another breed entirely, mate. These are actually really interesting. Hey,
us or them? You're old.
It's us. It's New World.
Okay. And are we in New Zealand or Australia?
Australia.
South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales?
South Australia.
Are we in... Correct, by the way. Fast game's a good game.
Okay. No, because we've got another one after this as well.
We got to get you playing.
Vale, Barossa, Clare?
Well, that's a tough one. I'm going to say Vale.
Is this Clare wine a single varietal or a blend?
Subtle. Oh, you say Claire? You did Claire. Laura did Claire. Laura won, everyone. Just letting you know.
Yeah, Laura's playing on the couch. That's what happened.
All right, it's Claire. Is it Claire? Sorry, say that again. Is it a
blend or a single varietal?
I think single variety?
It is.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Is it Grenache, Shiraz, or Mourvèdre?
The last one, my bad.
Mourvèdre.
Yeah.
This is Claire Shiraz
Wow.
from 2018.
Wow.
From one of my clients, so I make this wine from off a really beautiful vineyard in Emu Flat.
This is
It's kind of
It's
just south
actually
of-
delicious.
It's. I mean,
Not
you'd
to be-
expect
not
no
to be
less.
surprised.
I mean, it's actually delicious. I mean, it's delicious.
Yeah, I think it.
Yes.
Yeah, in the realm. No, honestly, but think of this. In one of the I know Lockie George actually made this comment the other day about how 2018. I actually confirmed it over the weekend. Lockie, I know you're watching. At 2018, he said it was balls. He said it was cold and wet. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, Lockie, because my 2018 was not cold and wet. No, Clare Valley 2018 was brutal. This is anything but, man.
Yeah.
This is pretty elegant. Like that's why I was going down the Mourvèdre path.
Yeah,
That sort of. It was saline and lifted mid. It's almost Pinot-esque.
It is.
I mean, that's wicked cool.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So we got
Burke and
Burke
Travers.
and
Yeah.
Travers.
Beautiful vineyard. It just, it shows us that we can go early, we can pick early, we can, be patient with time on skins and an amount of whole bunch. That's had nothing but a bit of sulfur, no fining, no filtration, no yeast, no acid. It's all natural and
That's incredible. Like
yeah.
for 2018, we struggled in 2018. We had the varieties like that sort of played to our advantage as well.
Yeah.
And this is one of those varieties that just, in my mind, in many cases, just shouldn't be there.
doesn't, yeah. Right.
And this is amazing though. This is an amazing example of that style of wine, man.
Yep. What do we pick it? 25th of February. So we're picking Shiraz
Picking in web.
25th of February.
That's
So
insane.
that's what it took to, not really. Still got fruit.
I think so many people want to try to gun for like big, rich, heavy fruit in their Shiraz, not sort of acknowledging the fact that, in fact, in terms of body weight and shape, if it wasn't for the oak component in that, I could have confused these. It was the oak that gave this away, and the oak tannin that gave that away. But these are in a similar realm of body, which kind of makes me go, okay, controversial. I've said for 90 episodes straight about like basically Shiraz shaming. But maybe we've just been making it wrong. Maybe we just need to be more willing to accept our Shiraz like as medium to light. Maybe we just need to like figure that one out and pick
flavor
it.
and it's got tannin. And
That's
it's got
fun.
structure.
I mean, what do you reckon, Noah?
I'm into Shiraz. I think this is excellent. This is for those playing at home, is around $40 retail.
Yeah.
I think, which is
Yeah,
pretty tidy. But
Dope.
yeah, I'm into Shiraz, but I think it's got to be handled in the right way in the right places. I think Claire is one of those kind of places.
Claire's one of those.
Yeah.
Just Claire's an enigma. Claire's the rules often don't apply in Claire, and I'd say that's probably one of the only wine regions. That and Granite Belt are like the two where rules just go out the window. Everything that's conventional is unconventional, and you just gotta like accept that.
Up is down.
Down is up,
Left is
sky
right.
is violet, and grass is blue. All right, so on that note, we have 5 minutes, man.
All right.
We have 3 different wines here. I don't know what they are. You sure as hell don't. Pick one at random, and we're going to play the game together.
So close.
And I want to know, have you guys had a Shiraz that has blown your mind? Have you guys had a Shiraz that, by all means, contradict me? Brendan, I think that Shiraz is fantastic for this country. It's freaking delicious. I want to see more of it. And where was it from? Why did you like it? Who were you with? What were you eating? I want to know the ins and outs of your Shiraz life.
I just had a couple of weeks ago Gentlefolks Oakbank Shiraz, and it was absolutely exceptional. So I'll just lock that in. But then it's Gentlefolk, so
It's also
lock it
like
in.
maybe it is one of those things. Like it was Ashley Ratcliffe that first armed great winemakers with this Riverland fruit, saying maybe Riverland wine is the way it is, not because of where it's grown, but because of how it's grown and how it's made.
Yep.
If we just change how it's grown and how it's made.
Yeah, it's game on.
Maybe if we don't accept 10 ton per acre quantities of out of Shiraz or something like that, if we don't expect Shiraz to be super dense and like 15% alcohol, maybe we can actually turn something amazing out of it.
Yep.
Have you seen, like, at a very extreme level, have you tried much of the wines out of Shelbrook?
No.
Like 11%.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, it's the
Shiraz.
poolside, and that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, not for
Crazy.
a little while, but yeah, those.
And they're really polarizing.
Yeah,
really polarizing wines. People either love them or hate them, but it really showcases, like, you know, wine is fucking wine. You either love it or don't like it, like, you know, and that's okay. You know, it's going to continue on. It's going to exist. It's going to do its thing. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah.
I have to confess real quickly as well that I've actually produced a bit of wine out of the Riverland this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's not a bad confession. It's a good one.
That's a great one.
So a couple of producers or growers that you know, Basham and 919. So
Cool.
A little bit of fruit out of those guys.
Sick.
And, yeah, we had our first play around with Riverland with Tinta Barocca, Tariga Nacional.
Yes!
Tariga?
This is so metal! Tariga's going to be so cool. Is it under Vanguardist?
It'll be under
Yes!
yeah.
That is so cool. Like, you're just like we need another one.
Yeah.
More. We need more. Absolutely. Hell yeah. I mean, Tariga is something that I would like to see Tariga planted and grown in the Adelaide Hills.
Yeah, I don't pretend to know enough about it. I made some out of the Riverland this year, and that's my experience. But you know,
Smells like lavender. It's the only red that it's just so floral. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, 5 minutes.
Red or white?
Really going backwards tonight. It's white.
Yeah, white.
bonk.
Are we going New World or Old World?
Oh, wait, I mean, up to you. I mean, you know what's up. You know what's up.
New World for me.
I'm going to differ. I'm going to go Old World.
This is Old World.
Well played.
A little bit savoury, a little bit aged. I think maybe a little bit premature as well.
It could be a variety I don't know much about.
Albarino-ish, I think. I think that's what I'm getting vibes.
I'm sort of feeling piano, but because there's that straw but I just don't know a lot about.
Textural white, Old World.
Yeah.
France, Italy, Spain. The classic trinity.
Can I have a bit more? This is actually really yummy. I'm like... Did I hear before saying he's going to drink like a fish? Yeah. It's yummy. It's really yummy. You should try some.
Sometimes explain to the punters what the noble grape varieties are as well.
Hey, that's a really...
People know it.
Oh, cool. That's a really cool Get Basic thing. Noble grape varieties. What I know... Typically, I think we just assume they're all French. But... There's the other one. Nebbiolo is a noble grape variety.
Absolutely.
I would need to do a little bit of research into what actually constitutes a noble grape variety, but I think it's ones that are like Merlot is noble, but in Australia it's probably slipping into the sphere of being an alternate grape variety, which is no one wants to be described as alternate. Anyway, I mean they do if they're proud of it, but most grape varieties just want to be grapes. Just let them be grapes.
Spain or Italy? I think it's
I'm
French.
going Spain for this one.
I'll go Italy.
It's Italy.
Nice. Oh, cool. So you got Fiano vibes.
Yeah,
Okay.
could be a bit further north as well.
Could be a bit further north. Could be Suave-ish, Garganaga,
Oh yeah.
Pecorino.
Arnais maybe.
It's
It's in that realm.
I've never seen Arnais this tasty before.
It's quite rich.
Usually, like Arnais has this like reductive hint that's like kind of punishes you, you know. This feels like it's almost like it's got. I mean, it's not residual sweetness, but it's fruit sweetness.
Yeah.
It is. There's a ripeness to this. This is fun. Like this is
Lot of
drinking
texture.
one. Yeah, plenty of
Bananas.
texture. All right, rock and roll, Noah. Have we got?
I'm working on it.
All right,
working
totally
on it.
fair. Totally fair. It's quite. It is actually quite difficult. The white wine regions of Italy.
Yeah,
is actually quite a fun one to try to.
You'll
Yeah, and
get me most of
I'm
the
still
time.
like wuss at level 2, so when you're throwing stuff like this.
No, but you smashed a wine the other day when you're on the live stream as well.
Oh, that was
That was like awesome.
yeah, Melon de Bourgogne.
Oh yeah, well.
Which is not from Burgundy. Which is not from
try it.
It's out of the Loire.
yeah, that's
Delicious.
hyper confusing.
Muscadet.
No, not at all. Lord, do you want to have a look at the bottle?
Okay, here we go.
Because I've a feeling there's, but I want Noah to say it because I have a feeling there is one particular region that I think this could be from, and it's a weird one. Aqua. It'll come to me. It'll come to me when he says it.
Give me a map! I want a map! Sorry. Absolutely.
It's flinty and fruity. This is amazing. Like this is
phenolic. It's got everything.
It's like smelling an underripe guava.
And then being so ripe on the palate.
Yeah. Very cool. All right.
Give me 30 seconds. Sorry, Henry. All right. Here we go. We are so close.
He's trying to
I have to reverse engineer this. This is cool. Just saying.
This is going to be one of those wine regions where you really need to like delve really deep into the wine region. Lord, do you want to have a look at the bottle?
I know what it is.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, right. Okay, this is
grape I've never heard of.
niche shit.
You've definitely heard of this variety.
Okay.
But the region is quite niche.
It's actually a Blanc Shiraz.
Yeah. Shiraz Blanc from Claire.
Yeah.
All right.
What do we got?
Are we going Abruzzo?
Okay.
Are we going Veneto? Are we going La Marche?
Or what?
La Marche?
La Marche.
There you go.
Are we going? Say that again.
La Marche.
Yeah, no, we're going
Abruzzo. Veneto.
I thought Abruzzo was in La Marche. I thought Abruzzo. Oh, it's a little bit north. It's a little bit north.
I have a map now.
Yeah. Asking the real.
So it could be a Pecorino. If it's like Abruzzo La Marche. If it's Veneto, it's Garganega or it's Soave. So I'm going my gut feeling. I said it was Soave, so I'm going to go. It is Veneto. I think it's a dope Soave. It's probably the nicest one I've tried. If it is. Oh, it's not.
It's not.
Okay, well, I'm sticking with Soave, even though Laura's telling me it's not. I'm going to stick with it because that's what I thought it was. So you've got the upper hand here. Abruzzo La Marche. What? The grape varieties from Abruzzo La Marche. Pecorino is the only one that comes to mind. Hey?
No, I don't know. I'm not a specialist in random white varieties from living.
Yeah. So this is La Marche.
Cool.
This is Verdicchio.
Oh, Verdicchio! Yes, Verdicchio! Yes!
Vintage.
2017.
18.
17.
Nice. Yeah, it's a little bit of age, not too much.
It's yummy.
It's Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Verdicchio, mate. Verdicchio.
I know.
Vinify bringing it. So this could be a David Ridge little number. That's very, very cool, actually. Misco.
Cool.
Not to be confused with the other, like Vermentino, and there's a few other styles. Good, fun little drinking wine. Totally delicious. Definitely not Garganega.
Definitely.
All right.
Tough wine to get.
That is so cool. Mate, we're chewing into Henry's time. Henry from Applewood is about to chime in straight away. Jaden Barker going, greatest white grape in the world. Hell yeah, Jaden. Mate, well done. Michael, mate, thanks so much for joining us, dude. Seriously, it was awesome to see you. And thanks for playing along, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll be back on Wednesday. We have Sven Joschke coming on board, a very, very new player in the world. Have you heard of Sven?
No, yeah, I have.
Some amazing wines.
Yes.
Probably like
funky stuff from Langhorne Creek.
Funky stuff from Langhorne Creek, particularly a Dolcetto that kind of blew my fucking mind on Wednesday. So definitely chime in. For all of Vanguardist wines, you can actually find them linked in the description above. And totally worth supporting for what little wines he actually has.
There's plenty.
Plenty. John, go on. That's right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thanks so much.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
So I said, call a lawyer. I don't care. Oh, we're like, hello.
Welcome to episode
Salutations.
64. Oh my goodness, it is episode 64.
64. Who's going to do 69?
Here we go.
That's like one of those like number plates you have to bid for.
Mate, you have no idea. I've actually got a really big episode planned for episode 69.
Of course you do.
Which is, I'm very excited about it, to be perfectly frank.
More the merrier. More the merrier, really.
Oh, it's actually going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is going to be sexually themed. It is, like, not in a weird way, not in like a hen's night way, but in a cool,
in like
cool
a stag
cocktail
night way, which isn't weird.
Yeah, in a stag night way. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to everyone across Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. I think that is all the platforms that we stream across.
Bebo.
MySpace,
If it's still going.
if you're still on your BlackBerry, welcome. You've just gotten out of prison, and it is the year 2020. So
things are going well.
Things are going really well.
Things are going really well.
That's why we're here.
Me. You can't trust the news.
Welcome to the new age. We have the registered bon vivant, Brendan Keown, here with us this evening. It's Stir Crazy 2. It was so nice we've done it twice now.
Who was Stir Crazy 1?
Oh, I can't remember. They weren't that memorable, but you were fucking
So that's good. That's why I'm second string.
That's not why you're second string.
Not memorable, but okay.
Hello to Jimmy. Hello to Stuart. Hello to Bronwyn. Welcome. If you are into stirred down drinks this evening, boy oh boy, have we got an episode for you, so stay tuned. Really, like, stirred down drinks are freaking wicked, and if you haven't had a stirred down cocktail in your life, you probably should get on it.
It's huge. It's a whole mixture. It's physics, it's history, it's literature,
it's liquid dynamics. It's the whole thing.
It's going to get pretty technical, people.
It's not going to... It might get a little technical.
It might get a little technical. But, we can all Google anything you don't understand.
Yeah, this is very true. Farag Ebdo. Yeah, welcome, Ahmed. Good to see you. Don't know what that means, personally. But
Farag Ebdo to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Supersonic Turtle, you absolute champion. Hope you're having a sensational evening.
Hero and a half shot.
Hello, Kirsten. Good to see you as always. Kirsten's from Starwood.
Hi, Kirsten.
Welcome. We're using some Starwood tonight in some of our stirred down.
Can't wait to see that new bar once it's all finished up.
Oh, yeah. Are you renovating
Are you done yet? Let us know. I'm excited.
Please. Let us know. We would love to join you. Let us know what you are drinking tonight. As always, we love to see what you guys are drinking or hear what you guys are drinking. Well, we've got this fantastic little stout. Now, where's this from?
A porter.
It's a porter. It's a porter.
A porter, a pint of porter, as they say in Ireland.
We got the pint of porter.
A pint of porter, courtesy of our good friends at Stomping Ground.
Thank you. Supplied to us very, very nicely by the guys at Mr. West.
Mr. West were our heroes in a half shell tonight.
Yeah.
Where I was desperately trying to source a bottle of Fernet Branca, like the stereotype bartender that I am.
There you go.
Couldn't find one, but they very kindly nipped up to the bar and gave us some shots. So Josh Hodges,
as
thank
always,
you. We
absolute gentleman and a scholar.
And a scholar.
Cheers to you. Cheers
I
to
don't care
everyone.
what people say about you.
Exactly. No one cares. Hello to Emma. Hello to Katarina. Good to see you. Neither can I. The Renos are so close. Awesome. That's great to hear that the
Very
Starwood
excited.
bar
I mean, I'm down there all the time at CBC.
Yeah.
I'm always having a little juke in the window at Starward. If anyone hasn't been down that way, Starward, big, beautiful warehouse off Bertie Road in Port Melbourne.
Yeah.
Awesome facility. It's great juice. They're
Gorgeous.
making better whiskey than they ever had. So just keep an eye out for what's happening there as well.
Hello, Kathy Keown.
Hello, it's my mother, people. My mother is live on the internet. I am ecstatic about this.
Hi, Kathy.
Ask her anything you want, to be honest.
I mean, I think she should watch last episode, especially at around the
my mother
hour 20
did.
mark.
My whole family watched the last episode.
Yeah, that was a loose episode. That was a good episode.
Oh, I don't know, Mother. I'm not really much of a drinker.
Oh my goodness.
As you well know.
So, stirred down drinks. We'll get onto the topic for this evening. We'll stop having a gab. Stirred down drinks are a really cool way of actually making a drink, and they're kind of underrated because we always look at like stirring down
the classic, the original cocktail.
Exactly.
That's how they started.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, besides that and flipping. Like, flipping was done in the 1600s with a red hot poker in like a barrel.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, like stirring down a drink is pretty much the original way of making a beverage. And the cool thing,
especially when ice was such a precious commodity.
Yeah, and such a luxury.
Such a luxury. It was, so you had to take your time with it. You didn't want to waste it.
Yes, you wanted to, and that's why like a lot of those recipes from the ye old days were always saying chilled water.
Yes.
Instead of ice.
Yes,
it was easier to chill water as opposed to actually getting ice. So that's another reason why you stir down the drink as opposed to actually using ice, because you've got all that chilled water, which is sometimes what's said in Difford's Guide and some of the really old cocktail recipes.
The old professors' recipes or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, Brendan, you thirsty? Because I can make you a drink.
There's a certain dryness to my palate, so you know, go for it.
No worries. Alrighty, let's make our first drink. Our first drink for this evening is brought to you by the wonderful people at Gospel. This was kind of put together by myself and Zach.
Great juice.
Yeah, great juice. We had Zach on. If you're not aware of Gospel, beautiful distillery in the centre of Melbourne. They predominantly make rye whiskey. In fact, they only make
guys
rye
on the
whiskey.
block.
New guys on the block, but they're doing a sensational job. They've got a single cask coming out soon, which is really exciting.
And they have a delicious hand sanitizer.
They do.
If you are strapped for cash.
Don't drink it.
Well, you can distill it. Actually, don't drink this.
Don't
drink it.
In all seriousness.
But lovely guys, great juice. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
cool livery as well on the bottle. Like great design. I know it's not supposed to count for anything, but it does.
No, it does. It's an absolutely beautiful bottle.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to do me a favour? The one thing I forgot is there's a jigger over there.
I am a tool. Use me.
Well, please. Are you able to run? Are you able to run and grab? It's a gold jigger. It's on the table. You will see it. We had Zach from Gospel on last Wednesday, so if you missed that episode, you can go back and visit it on the Applewood Facebook page. Because he's an absolute belter of a guy. He's
beautiful man as well.
Fantastic. Yeah. He's stunning.
Easy on the eyes and easy on the ears.
He really is. He's got a beautiful voice. Let us know what your favourite stirred down cocktail is. If you're watching and you love a good stirred down cocktail. If you don't have one, that's fine. Maybe you'll have one after this. But let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. Let's start.
Ready? Okay. So
Gospel. What's happening in that bottle?
Well, in terms of it's the 100% straight rye. So this is like their more premium version. The Solera rye is a bit more of a blend of different ages. I do believe this stuff is at least 2 years old in terms of the rye whiskey, but Zach will actually have a better idea of that. So again, if you did miss that episode, head back to last Wednesday when we had Zach on. He talks
Head back to Zach.
And let us know what he says. But for this cocktail, you're going to need 40 ml worth of Gospel rye to get you started.
Delicious.
So we're using the Gospel straight rye for this, and it's an absolute banger.
What do you mean by straight rye?
So straight rye as in 100% rye whiskey from a single barrel, I do believe. This particular one. Is this single barrel? No,
I haven't actually tried this.
It's not single.
I've had the other stuff, which is
pour yourself out a little. Pour yourself out a little schmutz.
Double distilled.
Double
distilled. New American oak. Delicious.
It's a gorgeous little rye whiskey. So instead of getting a rye whiskey from say America, just grab yourself this. Shop local because it's freaking delicious. And if you are in lockdown in some of those lockdown suburbs. As we are now back in the lockdown times, in Victoria at least, go and purchase yourself something nice online, and people can come in. No, it's not a single barrel. It is not. Not a single barrel.
That is lovely.
But it's real good rye.
It's floral.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's super floral.
Yeah.
It's super soft, and that's quite something.
Well, the one thing I really get from it is kind of like.
It's like a marzipan.
It's like marzipan and like orange blossom.
Yeah,
there's
that's a good
wonderful little orange blossom like florality to it. So that's why we are pairing it with equal parts. So another 40 mils of Manzanilla sherry.
Bless you.
Thank you. Manzanilla sherry, which is absolutely gorgeous. You can just get the $10 stuff from Dan Murphy's, which is the Barbadillo. And it's actually really good quality sherry. It comes in at 375 ml, and that way you're not buying a whole bottle, and that's way too much.
In terms of the sherry kind of canon, that's at your dry, nutty, almost briny kind of end.
Yeah,
you would
sure.
say, yeah,
and it's not quite as heavy as Oloroso, and it's not quite as light as Amontillado and Fino.
Nice.
So those are the two lighter styles of sherry. And then we're going to need 15 ml worth of Okar Gold.
This stuff, I'll just put this in every single cocktail if I could. Honestly, though, it really is.
It's a lot of fun.
The most I'm not saying this because I'm on the show, but it's the most interesting liqueur.
It's such a cool
It's
liqueur.
such a cool liqueur. It's the most I mean, there's a lot of competition for interesting booze coming out of Australia.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is the interesting.
But it's fangin', like it's a real gem of a liquid.
Control.
Yeah, it's real good. And then 2 dashes of Peychaud's in this bad boy. And now we're going to stir this one down. So that's all you need. So you have 40 mils worth of your straight rye from Gospel, 40 mils worth of Manzanilla sherry, or maybe a dry sherry or dry Apera equivalent, and then 15 mil worth of Okar Gold, and then 2 dashes of Peychaud's. And now
get into it. So I've been doing a little cramming for this kind of like session. So what I find quite interesting about stir drinks is all the elements that we use for it. So the stirring spoon, for example, there's actually quite a bit of history to a stirring spoon.
And it's also like beautifully designed. Very simply designed.
The ultimate marriage of like form and function.
Yeah.
So this particular kind of stirring spoon, it actually has a name. Not sure if you know that. This is a Mazagran spoon.
A Mazagran
Now,
spoon.
it's French, so I'm almost certainly mispronouncing that horrifically.
Yeah.
But Mazagran or Mazagran. And Mazagran spoons are that one with the kind of the heavy bulb at the end. So this one's quite delicate. Sometimes you get the ones which are flat-ended. The twisted kind of body. And then you have the kind of flat, cup at the end, which is quite handy for running a knife across. And these are actually from French apothecary history. So the idea being that you would use the spoon for measuring small amounts, very precise amounts, because usually it's about 5 mils you find in the spoon.
Yeah.
The base you would use for crushing powders or certain kind of crystals. And that's how the apothecaries would put together their potions and mixtures and lotions and everything else that would solve you. So a Mazagran spoon.
That's awesome, and I actually wish I had like an infographic that went across the scene and said "Fact of the evening," because that's
this
banging.
is not the fact of the evening. Trust me.
No, it is absolutely not. That is hilarious.
Well, because and what I found out, the other types of spoon that we're all very familiar with is the ones with the little fork in the end.
Yeah.
Now, me personally, I hate those things.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them go into people's faces when you lean forward.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare, like terrifying.
Yeah,
but
it's
that's
really
actually called a sucket spoon.
Okay. Wait, why is it called a sucket spoon?
Well, these are actually very old. These are the oldest kind of spoons we really got. The idea it comes from a dessert called a wet sucket.
A wet sucket?
A wet sucket, people. That's spelled exactly how you pronounce S-U-C-K-E-T. A wet sucket was a stewed fruit dessert. So you use a spoon to eat, and then you would turn it around, use the fork to spear the fruit and eat it.
Oh, okay.
So sucket spoons are very old, kind of English style.
Yeah.
Dessert spoon, really.
A sucket spoon.
A sucket spoon.
There you go.
Suck it and see.
Fact of the evening. Fact of the evening. There you go.
That's not your fact of the evening, people, but we got a long way to go.
Okay, we certainly do this evening. So
what's
this is our first cocktail of the evening.
That
so
colour?
Then what we do is we have it's garnished with an orange twist that you then throw away. So just express the oils over the top and then wipe the rim of the glass. Now this is a little bit booze driven, but not really, not massively. But the key to this is it's super dry. So it's actually a beautiful aperitif style cocktail, even though it's got whiskey in it. Now, what is the Okar Gold? You know Okar Amaro, but have not seen the gold. Well, Joel, the Okar Amaro is essentially like if Suze and Yellow Chartreuse had a baby in Australia and it grew up to be a nice person. That's how I like to phrase it. So it's got a bit of gentian in it, what you'd put in a white Negroni. If you're not familiar with that, you can always like have a look online and you'll get a good picture of it. Now, Yellow Chartreuse, don't be afraid. A lot of people are a bit afraid of Chartreuse because they remember it from like their university days when people were like throwing it in shot glasses for people. Sure. It's actually quite sweet because we use quite a bit of Manuka honey.
But you have to respect it as it is. You can't just charge in there all,
Yeah, you got to be...
guns a-blazing. It needs to be...
respected. Yeah.
Appreciated and tried. But the Yellow Chartreuse is is the easygoing brother.
Chartreuse, yeah.
Absolutely.
Green chartreuse.
Absolutely. So it's lower in alcohol.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on the Ocar?
It's 40%.
40%, same as yellow chartreuse. Yellow chartreuse, I think we talked about it last time, characterized by things like saffron, honey.
Yeah,
but
and
still with
aniseed.
Aniseed.
Aniseed is a big one in yellow chartreuse. But in terms of the Ocar Gold, we use a little bit of a aniseed myrtle in that one, just to give it a little bit of licorice, but it's not really one of the main botanicals.
That's a native botanical?
It is a native botanical, certainly is. So here we go. Let's have a taste.
Colour
Cheers.
is gorgeous. No.
Cheers to you, my man.
Sláinte, good health.
Sláinte, l'chaim, whatever things you like to say.
Cheers, chaps.
Well, take a shot of insulin and tell me that's not a good drink.
That's exactly how you pitched it.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite subtle flavouring to it as well for something with such a big whack of rye. Obviously, that gospel rye, I can see why you've used that. If you use something bigger like Rittenhouse or even just like Bullet, it would be kind of quite
overpowering, too
spicy.
Heavy.
Too heavy. That rye is lovely and floral. It's very respectful with the other ingredients.
But yeah, it's an absolute banger.
Absolute banger.
Absolute banger. If you serve me that over a good whiskey bar, say Baxter Inn, I'd be involved.
Yeah,
I'd be in it.
I mean, a good one. I mean, in the parlance, it's a bit outdated these days when people talk about feminine and masculine cocktails. But stripping it of its pejorative terms, it's got a feminine element to it for a whiskey cocktail.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's approachable. It's soft, but great for pre-dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely going to steal that.
Oh yeah, you're going to steal it.
Do you have a name for that?
Nope.
Oh,
there's no name for this.
Is this an original?
Quasi. It's a quasi original. It's kind of like a twist on. It's a twist on another drink, which is kind of a Manhattan twist. So it's a twist on a twist. Very twisty. # very twisty. So
chicken flavor.
Yeah, exactly. Tastes like chicken. Joel, you are more than welcome, my man. Head on to our website and grab some Ocar Gold. Head on to Applewood Distillery. Grab some Ocar Gold, man. We'll ship it to you.
Get it while you can. I mean, is this a standard expression or is this a limited run?
I'm pretty sure we're making it core range. However, Supersonic Turtle, let me know what we're doing. I don't precisely know, but I think it is a core range statement.
I can see some buzz building about that Ocar. That's lovely.
Man, it's very, very nice. Chicken twisties, the empire is falling. Chicken twisties are not the best twisties. Cheese twisties are probably the
That's what they told me, but...
Are you a fan of chicken?
No.
This has been a thing. Yeah, exactly.
I don't care for twisties.
This is what I mean.
Actually, you know what's funny? It's a year ago today since I became an Australian citizen.
Hey, that's fantastic!
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So I don't have to pretend I like twisties or any of the weird crap that you people like Vegemite. So there you go.
Congratulations!
Already in
man.
the door.
Here
Thank
you go.
much.
Well, let us know at home what type of twisties you prefer.
Feel free to comment on my citizenship status.
Yeah, and also comment on Brendan's citizenship
Anything
status.
about my appearance or...
Yes, if you want to. But that's our first drink of the evening. A lovely little stir-down light-style aperitif cocktail. Because stir-down drinks don't always have to be heavy. That's kind of like a misconception as well. That like shaken is light, stirred is hard.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. No,
is that a thing? Like I always feel like that's a thing when like you're just there with the consumer.
I think there's something else to it as well. It's not on ice usually. If you're having something like this straight up, I think people drink them a bit quicker as well, so it does hit you harder. But certainly, a lot of people wouldn't go for a stirred down, a short drink like that.
Yeah.
You assume it's going to be something punchy, but that's certainly very approachable.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What is your favorite stirred down drink? Do you have like a favorite?
Look, martini.
Yeah.
I'm a very simple man.
Yeah.
Like gin martini, 6-1 with a lemon twist.
Yum yums.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you like have the recipe. You're there.
That's it. I'm that guy at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I made the Dorothy Parker quote last time.
I think you might have.
Yeah. Well, I love a martini, 2 at the very most.
Yeah.
3, I'm under the table, and 4, I'm under the host.
Hey. I don't think you said that. But that's damn good.
Yeah.
Well, look, in terms of my favorite stir down cocktail, it's probably a chrysanthemum.
You're gonna have to remind me of this.
So that's 60 ml of white, of dry vermouth, and then 30 ml of Dom Benedictine.
Is that it?
Yeah. I think there's a dash of bitters in there somewhere. I think there is.
Now that's quite an interesting cocktail because it's all about the vermouth with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can make that drink you can actually have a huge range on the flavor profile of that, depending on what you go for. Do you have a preference in terms of is it a dry vermouth? Is it?
Yeah, so I usually like dry vermouth personally.
What would be your if you had to have one right now? Desert Island Chrysanthemum.
Funnily enough, I'd use AHD white vermouth.
AHD white vermouth.
So Adelaide Hills Distilling Company's white vermouth.
Lovely.
With Oka Gold.
Delicious.
Twist of lemon. And maybe some
That's funny because we were just talking about Oka Gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean,
look at that.
It's real good.
It's lucky for you.
Oh, it's absinthe. Absinthe. Blake's right. Yes, there's a wash of absinthe. I think,
hello, Blake.
Hello, Blake. Good to see you as always, my man.
Blake Hall from Patient Wolf.
Patient Wolf.
A cracking gin. If you're ever down South Melbourne, where people do pop in. I'm actually not sure if they're open. Blake, can you let us know if you're open for visitors?
Yeah, please. Yeah. Oh, Blake is definitely open. He's definitely open for visitors.
Great spot in South Melbourne.
They might be.
There's so much in South Melbourne. Starward, CBC, Patient Wolf,
Hats and Tats.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. People. Sorry, you missed your chance to, have a bunch of regrets on a Saturday night.
And the bunch of regrets was good.
But thank you, Jackie Chan. It seems we hardly knew you.
Oh, but we wanted to know you better.
He's not dead, obviously.
Yeah, no, he's not. Recipe on hand, but I'm sure Meg has the taste buds to make it happen. Look, definitely in terms of Oka Gold, Meg is our master distiller, and she does all the sensational work that you get to have in the glass. Vegemite is the work of the devil, apparently, according to Jimmy Carlisle.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I don't disagree with you. I also think it's the work of the devil.
Yeah. Although I'll say one thing for Vegemite, because of where it's actually located in Port Melbourne. If no one knows that, all Vegemite in Australia is made in Melbourne. It's true. And there's a street. It's called Vegemite Street.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know this.
It crosses with two other streets, and the two other streets are called Salmon Street and Cook Street. Cook Salmon Vegemite is your intersection, which I think is just fantastic.
It's very, very apt. Really.
It's very apt. It's very apt. It's actually quite delicious.
Yeah, I personally have to admit that I've never, ever been there, but I've definitely been on Salmon Street.
No, you don't want to be there. It's grim and weird, and it's beside like the motorway, and you'll probably get run over by a truck or beaten up by, someone. Yeah. But it's there, trust me.
Yeah, and I'm not really a fan of Vegemite. I don't actually understand it, and I think it was made on a dare, to be honest. Like, it's just not... It's not good.
Look, it's one of these things, it's like, because it's a waste product, people, and it's a bit like haggis, I always compare it to.
Oh, yeah.
People say, haggis is our national dish of Scotland. I'm like, yes, but that's because someone stole all the good bits. And they left you with all, like, the awful, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You made your best of a bad deal. Same with Vegemite. Who stole the beer? Who stole all the good bits of the bread and the beer and left you with this horrible, yeasty, dark... Satan smeg, as I...
You had to say smeg.
Is that...
That's my least favourite word. It's like some people's moist.
It's a very evocative word. It's quite graphic.
It's very visceral.
It is visceral.
Oh, visceral.
Good word for it.
Boy. Makes the road smell like Vegemite. Kirsten, I definitely believe you.
You're absolutely right. Especially, you need a lot of jars to cover the whole tarmac.
Oh.
One of those big jars.
Katarina, I used to work in a place bordering on the craft factory and it didn't smell great. That doesn't surprise me. That's, it's just not...
No longer owned by Kraft, though. It's owned by the Bega company. In fact, Bega and Kraft have been locked in a major legal battle for years over the over the brand rights to a lot of these things.
I love that you, know this shit. Because
it's lockdown. Everyone knows a lot of pointless stuff now because we got nothing else to do but watch TV and... flick through the internet.
Oh, fair enough. Alba in Italy makes Nutella. The town smells amazing. Is this Nuttolino? Is the Alba responsible for Nuttolino? That's what I need to know.
Maybe. Well, no, Nutella is Italian.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Nuttolino is like the company. It's like the brand name. I think that might be a thing. I don't know. But I think that's like the Italian, and then Nutella. Is that from Italy? Is Nutella from Italy?
Nutella's Italian. The hazelnuts, and the chocolate. Nutella's Italian. Can we get a confirmation on that?
Yeah, I want a confirmation on that because I don't. I need to know now.
Nutella in a cocktail. Has anyone done that?
Yeah, people have definitely done that.
Chuck a scoop of that into your espresso martini.
Oh, for real, 100%. It's the way to go.
I might try that this next couple of days.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like experimenting.
Now you've got a drink for us this evening.
I do.
Yes. Alrighty. What are we doing? Oh, yeah. Well, Slanger.
That was lovely. And very light, very easy going down. Nice consistency to it. Beautiful. drinks tonight, people. So, obviously last time we had the benefit of Charles Baker and his extensive knowledge. I pulled it back a little bit tonight. We're just going to talk a bit more, a bit more freewheeling. This drink is probably the opposite of all the drinks I had before, which were well researched and had a backstory. This drink is one that I heard across the bar, which, many of us have, been across the bar and someone's been trying to tell us the drink. Now, it was either Miffy Rigby, who's the editor of Good Food, or it was Pat Nurse, who was the deputy editor of Gourmet Traveller at the time. So people with a good palate. We were at Baxter Inn when I was working there a few years ago, and they recommended a drink to me, which was, it sounded like one of these drinks which just sounds a bit of a disaster. You know when you hear a drink and you go, like a Last Word, for example. Like, it can't possibly work out for anyone. It must be just a bit of a mess. But somehow, somehow it works.
Somehow it makes sense.
Somehow, like Trump's 2016 campaign, it works.
Or Kanye's 2020 campaign.
Well, that's what they say.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
There's a part of me that really...
So this drink, I actually don't even know the name of it. I've been told it a bunch of times. Can't remember the name of it.
Cool.
But it's very, very simple. It is 3 kind of liquids and a pinch of salt. So that's what I was putting in, a big pinch of salt, which is one of those little ingredients to a cocktail I think should be used more often. A lot of times you don't really think about it. You think, salt in a drink. Like we've all maybe experienced with some like caked old margarita rims.
Yeah.
But actually salt is a great element to put, a little bit of brine. It works with a lot of cocktails.
Yeah.
Obviously it's astringent. So it can work like an acid or an alkaline. That idea, it adds a bit of a counterbalance to sweetness. So certainly one to work with.
And it definitely lifts the core flavors of a cocktail.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, like adding just a dash of saline. Like I like to use saline because it's already like...
but you get more consistency, of course, with that with saline.
That's my personal preference, but I mean, whatever.
No, I don't want to use this.
Oh, you don't want to use vermouth?
I don't want to use this.
Yeah, use the Carpano.
So, coming back to the cocktail. So there's 3 elements to this. There was essentially a sweet vermouth and 2 types of bitters.
Cool.
So already you can say this sounds like it's going to be an unbalanced nightmare, which it does.
Yes.
You want to use quite a rich vermouth. Tonight we've got the Carpano Classico, which is just that kind of like higher kind of sweetness. That lends the richness to the whole element. So equal parts. Keeps it nice and simple. Yeah. Which I love. It's good for me.
Yeah, 100%. Easy to remember when you're pissed.
Bit of that. We've got a little bit of Fernet Branca. Like I say, donated, bought from, but, hustled up by the good folks at Mr. West.
Yeah.
Fernet Branca, of course, rich, complex, all the way from Milan.
A little bit of menthol as well. Has a little bit of that, we can say alpinistic characteristic.
Alpinistic characteristic, but not really bitter. You got the aloe ferox in there, which adds a really kind of dark, bitter element to it. And then we've got the
Ochre.
The ochre.
I love it. Just while you're making this, Andrew is deciding what rum to buy. Well, Andrew, that's a massive rabbit hole that we will talk about after we finish this cocktail. Frankly, maybe this is excellent. Well, thank you, Frankly, maybe. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Keep on making the drink. You're all
May I be Frankly? So the regular cocktail that calls for Chinar, which we know and love.
Yeah.
Big red label. It's got artichoke. Everyone freaks out about it.
Yeah.
What we're using tonight is the Ochre.
Ochre Amaro.
Delicious.
Tons of fun. All native Australian botanicals.
All native. It's got that vegetal, that kind of green note to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a good substitute for Chinar. It's got slightly more bitterness to it. But we're trying something new. Now that we're all been locked up in an island here, we may as well work with what we can.
And we are literally on an island.
Literally on an island. So that's it. Very simple. 3 ingredients. Bit of ice. So, ice. Here's time for another technical factoid, people.
Yep.
So ice. Do you know who invented the first ice machine?
No.
Aha. Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So we talked a bit earlier about how ice was a precious commodity up until pretty much the middle of the 19th century, which it was, because you could only get ice in very cold climates or during winter. And for anyone who's been to maybe hotter places like kind of like the southern US or kind of the Middle East. The incredibly complex buildings that they would build to save ice throughout the winter. I've been to there was a place in Iran I went to one time, which was a brick-built building, 600 years old, 4 stories high and 4 stories deep.
Cool.
And what they would do in winter, they would have these big pools out the front where they would make the ice in the winter, and then they'd put it into this building all throughout summer and cover it in straw.
Yeah.
And then throughout the blazing hot summers, they would take the ice out and use it. So ice was expensive. It was a luxury item. It was used for medicine a lot of the time.
Yeah.
If you could afford to use it for your drinks, even better.
Cool.
So cool, but also quite important.
Yeah.
So there was a chap called John Gorrie, who was born in the West Indies to Scottish parents. This is in the 1840s. And he actually trained in tropical medicine.
Yeah.
And he understood the importance of ice and of chilling and of being able to keep your patients cool is what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So what he was actually trying to invent was the first air conditioner.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Which he did. And the first air conditioner essentially he invented was it created a flat sheet of ice or a block of ice that you blew the air over, and he wanted to do that to keep his patients cool. Patent 8080 if you ever go back to the US.
Fact of the evening.
But not even, people. Not even. Unfortunately, he invented this at the same time as a Yankee called Jack Perkins.
Okay.
Who had a much better marketing and a much cannier technique. Much in the same way as the telephone was invented at the same time by someone else than Alexander Graham Bell. But can you remember him?
Nope.
Because
he didn't patent.
Get yourself a good lawyer, people.
Yep.
John Gorrie died broke, alone, and ruined. But his invention lived on.
Cool.
And very quickly people realized that air conditioning could be improved, but the means of creating ice was all of a sudden an American invention.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was what we all know as the start of the first golden age of cocktails.
Holy shit.
And that was actually a transition from stirred down drinks to shaken drinks.
Yeah, for sure.
Pop fact, we all know of the old-fashioned cocktail.
Yeah.
The reason they call it the old-fashioned is because prior to the invention of kind of artificial ice, ice was precious and delicate, and you had to use a little bit of it and not waste too much.
Yeah, yeah.
But when all of a sudden you could have ice on demand all year,
all
of a sudden they started shaking it.
Yeah.
Bars started throwing it around, shaking it, put it in drinks. But all the world over, you'd always have your old fuddy-duddy bartenders, your old men who would come in and they don't want shaken drinks, they don't want fruity cocktail. They want, give me that old-fashioned cocktail.
Yeah.
I want the old-fashioned drink, the stirred down, which is the old-fashioned.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
What a fucking piece of cocktail history that was. Holy balls.
Yes.
Now heading to the terrifying chat. Madison, hello daddy, I'm home. Madison, it's a pleasure to have you as always. We should definitely arrange a drink at the King's Cross Hotel. If you are free anytime, and once all of us can head up to Sydney, that would be great.
How good would that be?
I know, right?
Maybe head down to Jangling Jack's and get a drink afterwards.
That's the way. Or, Matty, why don't you buy some Oka, put it in your bar? How about that? Huh? That sound good?
What's that accent all about?
I don't know. That's a thing. And by the way, sorry about this.
We have a little bit of a grapefruit twist.
Yeah, beautiful.
Is what's called for. So very, very simple. So like I say, pinch of salt, fernet has to be in it, a rich sweet vermouth, and then a bitters. They said Chinar, we use the Okar, but give it a bit of a mix up.
And it's 30 mils of each?
30 mils of each, big pinch of salt, grapefruit twist, and a smile to the camera.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, well, come on.
Huh?
That's a fucking banger. That's
it?
Sensational. That's really good.
Super simple. So obviously bigger in width than what we had before. Still very dry on the finish. So you can use that as an aperitif cocktail, but with all those bitter elements to it, perfect for after dinner. You want something that's not going to be too heavy, too rich. That will open you right up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it, seriously sensational. The fernet comes through, but it's not too overwhelming.
Again, you would think with all of that together, it's going to be a huge bash your senses. But It just works.
God, try that at home. But this is for me saying alpinistic. That's now a drinking word, apparently. Cheers, everyone, for naughty words.
Good health. What was that? Oh,
Poor Tom's imbroglio.
blushing.
I know, again. Oh.
That's lovely. Poor
Yeah,
Tom.
it's very
Poor
nice.
Tom's from Sydney.
Yeah.
Lovely,
Poor Tom's from Sydney.
great gin. If you've never had the chance to buy it, a lovely livery on the bottle.
Yes, based on the Hieronymus Bosch painting.
Is it?
Of the Garden of Good and Evil. That's what it's based on. But funnily enough...
Fact of the night, people.
Oh no, hold on. Because Griff was from the drama school that I'm from. And that's how Griff and I met, who's one of the owners of Poor Tom's. And although the front label is based on the Hieronymus Bosch painting, everything that happens on the front of that label is actually all stories from a notorious party that used to happen called Porn Party, which was the
Was this
first...
when people brought things to sell? Or?
No, it was the first party of the year where everyone would dress in pornography costumes and have a party at a house. I once hosted that party, just to let everyone know.
Wow.
And we had to glad wrap the pool table.
Oh, thank God you said pool table.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a story.
No, yeah, I know. It's
I feel someone should connect these guys with double juice lounge in Sydney because
double juice. Get
a porn party.
Well, come on.
If any of the Rambling Rascal
folks, let's do it.
Let's get a Poor Tom's
Let's get
party.
Charlie. Let's get Charlie.
Charlie, Cosmo, Darden.
100%. And maybe let's talk to Ketty.
You ever seen Darden's porno?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay. And maybe we can also have a chat to Ketty from Porn and Co. In Melbourne and get some filth going.
I feel
because I'm always
is my
happy.
mother still watching?
Yeah. Joel, 2.5 mils of Fernet like a hanky panky? No.
No, equal parts. 30, 30, 30, baby.
It's a 30, 30, 30 drink. So we got 30 mils of Ocar, 30 mils of Fernet, and 30 mils of a heavy vermouth. We've used Carpano Classico. Antico formula would be fantastic. And then a grapefruit twist. And
big pinch of salt. Don't forget the salt.
Big pinch of salt, which is our last one. Henry, we can tell you're keen because of the mo. Ha 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 ha. That's a little bit of a low
I think that's a porn joke.
This took me a long time to make, okay? Took me a long time. Like too long. It took me too long.
Did it?
Yeah, it took me a little while.
I'm surprised.
Don't be surprised. It took me several weeks.
That's okay. Well, good for you, buddy. Don't worry, he's got a girlfriend. He doesn't care.
I actually have no horse in this race whatsoever. But there you go. That's a fantastic drink.
Cheers.
Now, we were talking about fluid dynamics earlier. I know that's a weird segue to like jump into.
It's gonna get technical. Like Jennifer Aniston, for anyone who's old enough, here comes the science bit.
Yeah. This is the science bit. And like the thermodynamics of stirring down versus shaking is actually super important. Like, and just to get your head around
thermodynamics, that's your key word, people.
Yeah, 100%.
Key word. Thermodynamics is the physics that deals with heat, relationships, and how they affect matter.
Yeah.
So very simply, it's how do you make things colder or hotter.
Your mum's still watching, by the way.
My mother is a saint.
She is.
And I love her very much. Thank you, Mum.
My mum was watching. She'd be happy.
But absolutely, it's fascinating. So essentially, for example, say you're making a cocktail and you get booze and you put ice in there. When you're stirring that drink down, everything in that glass, you realize you're making it warmer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of counterintuitive. You would think you're making everything colder. But because the energy of you stirring it, moving the glass around, you're actually taking the temperature, the cold temperature of the ice, put it into the liquid, but you're actually adding more heat. So everything in that glass ends up a little bit warmer than when you started. Thermodynamics, and it's very important. I learned a very good fact tonight when I was doing a little bit of cramming about this. Do you know what the definition of a calorie is?
No, I don't.
Here's one, people. The definition of a calorie.
Yeah.
A calorie is the heat energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water at 4 degrees Celsius by 1 degree Celsius.
Fuck.
There you go.
That's pretty awesome.
Okay, time to wake up, people.
Yeah, everyone just went, to screensaver.
No more comments? Or?
Yeah, no, it's all good. Hello to Muand, yes. Yeah, Muand. Good to see you. And yeah, your mum is still watching. So there you go.
Thank you,
good.
Mother.
But yes, go right ahead. And Blake, tell us what you think of this drink, because Blake is making this drink right now.
Blake, what are you using the same ingredients, Blake?
He's using the same ingredients: Fernet, Okar, Rosso, Vermouth, and salt. Stirring it down now, lads. Let's make it happen. But yeah, thermodynamics.
Mother, are you drinking anything? I'd like to know.
Yeah, please.
My mother loves a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
She loves a gin and tonic.
100%. That's
She
the way to go.
loves she loves a glass of wine. And
Yeah.
she loves spark. She loves champagne.
She loves everything.
No, not everything. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen my mother drink a pint of Guinness, but
Okay,
you know.
yeah, fair enough.
I mean, you might possibly get a segment on her
Yeah.
for this show.
Yeah,
possibly.
maybe. Maybe we can
My
invite
father
you
likes a
on.
pint of Guinness. There's a picture on my phone of my father having his first pint of Guinness after 4 months in Ireland, and I've never seen a man look so happy in his life.
Yeah, that's my dad with Lafroig.
Yeah,
He just fucking loves Lafroig.
I can imagine. Well,
Yeah, he
Lafroig's
just
amazing.
does it.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's stunning. And not like I could go on another hour.
It's like
talking
mother's
about
milk.
Lafroig. It is. Yeah, absolutely. And like
Yeah.
it's the history of the distillery is fascinating, and in all of its facets, Lafroig is very good. But back to what we were talking about.
Do you know why Lafroig? Quick pop fact. Do you know why Lafroig has the seal of the Prince of Wales?
I do believe because Prince Charles owns it.
No, he crashed on Isla.
Oh, really?
He was there on Isla doing a bit of a tour, as Charles Windsor does.
Yeah.
And his plane developed mechanical troubles and had to come back to the island. So they were like, what are we going to do? So they were like, let's take you to Lafroig. And he went there, had a great time.
Yeah.
They lost their mind over him. Gave him a couple of casks that he signed. You could actually still find those bottlings from those casks, Prince Charles casks, online. And he was so enamored, he gave them his seal.
Wow. Holy shit.
That's why it was 1983 or 86 or something like that.
Oh, holy fuck. Well, there you go. I mean, that's fantastic. Oh, fun fact, high ABV cocktails will reach lower temperature than high ABV cocktails stirring or shaking.
Joel Murdoch. Hello, Joel. Joel worked for me at my last bar.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Absolutely. Joel, lovely chat. Great DJ if you need someone to thrash out some good deep house and dance.
100%. Let's get Joel behind
and he's
the decks.
offered my mum a job, I think.
There you go. Huge. Thank you for joining us,
that might
Joel.
not be the same Joel. I think it might be a different Joel.
Okay, well, there you go.
But my mother's been offered a job anyway, so.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. So there's a really cool graph, if you have a look at it, behind the thermodynamics of cocktails when you're stirring versus shaking. So shaking will drop the temperature really quickly, but your dilution level is exactly the same.
That's true,
at a certain stretch in time. So around about 35 seconds.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah. If you shake a cocktail for 35 seconds, you'll actually reach the same level of dilution as stirring a cocktail for 35 seconds. So it's a really interesting thing. But the main difference will be that you've actually aerated your cocktail, you've pumped it full of air, and so there's quite a lot of nitrogen and oxygen within the cocktail, so that when you drink it, funnily enough, it's creamier because of the nitrogen in the atmosphere. And people don't think about this when they shake cocktails, because 70% of our atmosphere is actually nitrogen, not oxygen. So the oxygen doesn't really play much of a part. But the nitrogen is the thing that actually does most of the work in terms of texture. So there's a fucking fun fact for you. Different Joel, yes. Lols anyway, boys. Well, hey.
I've just realised which Joel it is. Hello.
Okay.
Great guy, though. Great guy. You're absolutely right about that, though. That's the fascinating thing. And the other big thing, of course, about stirring a drink, it's about control. Because when you stir, you can stir, taste. So that's why we like it for things like martinis, for example, is the classic example. We all know the James Bond quote, shaken, not stirred. And the idea is that when you stir a drink, you know exactly the right moment to stop diluting. Whereas shaking it, smashing it around, you can't be sure. And also the kind of the gas input changes the flavor profile of the drink as well.
Sure. Absolutely.
The classic idea is take a soda water, for example. It tastes great because you've got the carbon dioxide, which is slightly acidic, which makes it seem refreshing. If you leave soda water to go flat, it tastes like crap. So gas actually adds a lot to the flavor and how you take the drink. Although I did mention the James Bond drink, which
the Vesper Martini.
The Vesper Martini,
as we all know,
which comes from the very first James Bond novel.
Yes, Casino Royale.
Casino Royale.
Which is where he fell in love with Vesper Lind.
Vesper Lind.
So
he was a spy.
Yes.
And some people say that...
Double agent.
Well, some people say that Ian Fleming wrote the drink as a coded reference to the fact that she was a spy. Because the drink, obviously, you have the little bit of Lillet, or kind of quinoa Lillet, as it was back then. Most of the drink is gin, and there's a little bit of vodka.
Yeah.
So the idea about the codedness to the drink is that James Bond knew that Vesper was English, so most of it's English gin, but he also suspected she was a little bit Russian, hence the vodka.
Yeah, cool.
But you know what? In the novel, he only ever has one Vesper.
Yeah.
And he never doesn't drink it for the rest of the series because she broke his heart and died.
Yeah.
And in a very non-Me Too line from back in the day, the last line in the book is James Bond says, "It doesn't really matter, the bitch is dead now."
Yeah. Yeah, and also James Bond is not that debonair.
James Bond's an asshole.
James
like
Bond is a real alcoholic.
Asshole. But also, like, in other books, he, like, smashes, like, amphetamines and all stuff. And
he
sounds like a lot of fun to hang out with a bit, but...
No, but he like, deeply struggles with the fact that he has to kill people for a living.
He's an unhappy, twisted, narcissistic misogynist, so...
Yeah.
Who knew that Pierce Brosnan was such an asshole?
Yeah, mind you, if you make the Vesper with 3 shots gin, 1 shot vodka, half a shot Lillet, shaking it tons, it does down a bit with dilution. Yeah, it tones it down a bit with dilution. Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah, you do.
You know what? I feel like we should have done that tonight. Have you got any Lillet?
No.
That'd be interesting.
I'm really sorry. I've got Blanc Vermouth, but it won't really do the job, unfortunately.
Try that for us, people. If you want to do a little at-home experiment in your bar, try a shaken versus stirred.
Yeah,
Vesper,
which we will get to. I mean, we're going to get to this in a second, but I've got one more drink to make you, man. We've been gabbing on. So Blake Hall, this cocktail tastes like my 3 best friends threw me a surprise party. Thanks for the new at-home staple, dude. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for making it. Life with Khalid. Can I get some free gin? Dude, I freaking wish. Let me know where you are, and we'll
go to Blake Hall's house.
Yeah, go to
Blake. Apparently has the best back bar in his house.
It's fucking insane.
I have no doubt. Go to Blake Hall's house.
Go to Blake Hall's house. That's the way to go. Now, our final drink of this evening before we embark on one of our biggest experiments that we've done in our 64 episodes of doing this freaking show. We have a really cool drink that I have dubbed, and I've given this a name. It's called the Green and Gold. So it's an all Aussie.
Green and Gold. How Australian is that?
100%. Are you ready for this? So what we need...
Strutham.
Jesus Christ. So what we need... is a little bit of... Starward whiskey to begin us off. It's fine. So we need some Starward whiskey to begin us off. We need 50 mils.
Which Starward are you using here?
I'm using some twofold. This stuff you can find at Dan Murphy's, no problemo. This is a blend of both malt and wheat from Australia. It is a fantastic, I suppose, entry-level whiskey, but
it's all multi-purpose.
Sensational. Yeah, multi-purpose.
Sip it, shoot it, mix it.
Exactly.
Stir it.
Pickleback this, insane.
Yeah.
Like really, really good. It's a beautiful Australian whiskey. And thank you to Kirsten for giving me this bottle. This was a hashtag free stuff bottle. So thank you, Kirsten. We are almost through it because of your absolute generosity.
Twofolds.
And it's brilliant.
In terms of Australian product, it's probably the best entry-level booze I think we're putting out at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. So Peter, in the books, he also spent far more time avoiding hooking up with women because he's worried his lifestyle is unfair to bring someone else into than you would gather from the films. 100%. Like really. Just point in the story, read the books.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good story. Andrew has done that on his cocktail channel. Oh, there you go. Well, awesome. Well, we're going to do it this evening as well. So we are going to throw something that's usually shaken into something that's stirred, and something that's usually stirred into something that's shaken.
Exactly.
So here we go. So now, you're going to need 10 mils worth of Okar Gold, and then you're going to need 10 mils worth of Creme de Menthe.
Did you say Creme de Menthe?
I said Creme de Menthe. Here we go. As I said, green and gold.
Creme de menthe.
Creme de menthe. We are putting it fucking in there, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there all high and mighty, but I tell you what.
I mean, I've had a grasshopper.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can think of any other drink that involves green creme de menthe.
Well, here we go.
It's not a stinger.
It's green creme de menthe.
Woo!
And
Make
now,
sure you hold this one up for the camera. The color is stunning on this.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So
this is Vok.
this is Vok.
Which you can find at most.
Dan Murphy's. But I tell you what, it's Australian owned. And
Is
Australian
it?
made.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, now that I'm a citizen, obviously I feel the flag stirring within my breast. So, yeah.
See,
all right, Vok it is.
A lot of people shit on it, but it's actually really well made and it's really well put together. Yeah. And it's also all Australian. So now
Vok.
we have
Creme de menthe.
we have 15 mils worth of Velvet Falernum from the commissary. This is from the Bitters Lab.
Delicious
Really,
stuff.
really good.
Velvet Falernum, for anyone who's not aware of it,
please.
is a very Falernum essentially it's a non-alcoholic. You can have it slightly alcoholic if you wish, or you can have most times you'll get it. It's non-alcoholic. It's a flavored syrup. It comes from the West Indies. Again, it's a Jamaican creation, characterized essentially by almond, seasoned with all sorts of good stuff: citrus, lime, lemon, orange. You've got things like allspice, cloves, cinnamon. It's a wonderful, a classic tiki ingredient, but one that, experiment with it. It's one of the, tiki ingredients that you can use it in a lot of other things. It adds a real big punch of flavor. Commissary I've seen before. He makes this. This is like a bartender just started something a few years ago. Yeah.
I do believe so.
Commissary's cool. They're nice guys. I say it's a little independent kind of group. You can get John D. Taylor from the US is a very popular big brand. But you know what? Make it yourself. Look up a recipe, but what I used to do was get a bunch of overproof rum. Maybe something like Smith & Cross,
Ray and Nephew,
or Inner Circle.
If you're really strapped and you can't really find anything, you can use Rectifica Spiritus, which is from Poland, which is a rectified alcohol.
Do not drink it.
You'll have to dilute it down. Don't drink it.
It's 90%. That's right, 90%. But get a high proof booze. Chuck all your booze, your herbs, your cinnamon, your cloves, whatever you want to put in there. And let it just macerate for a bunch of time, and then just cut it down with sugar and citrus juice. It's incredible. If you make it yourself, you can't buy anything like homemade, and it adds it's like Muhammad Ali punching you in the mouth. It's that good.
It's sensational.
Cool. Falernum. I haven't used Falernum in a while.
Yeah,
look at the color on this.
We will have a look at it.
Hold up to the camera here for a second.
We will. We absolutely will once we have it in our glasses. Now,
okay.
The cool thing about
I'll be honest. If someone offered me a drink like this in a bar, I probably would find a reason to throw up my shoulder. So I'm intrigued.
Cool.
Very intrigued to drink it.
So funnily enough, this is actually way more tiki than you think.
Falernum and bright green sounds pretty tiki to me, buddy.
Alrighty, here we go.
But sure, let's do it.
I'm just going to add some larger
Remind me again the ingredients we got in here.
So, what we have is we've got Ochre Gold, green creme de menthe. We then also have...
my mother's got one of her friends.
Oh, yeah? Oh, hello.
Has my mother got one of her friends on here? I think she does. My mother has clearly told everyone back in the golf club that I'm on camera.
So...
Look at this.
We have... we have green creme de menthe, we have Ochre Gold, we have a little bit of cacao and macadamia bitters from Mr. Bitters. We have Falernum, and then we have Starwood. So 50 ml of Starwood, 10 ml each of Ochre Gold and green creme de menthe, 15 ml worth of Falernum, and then 10 drops of cacao and macadamia bitters.
This is cool. Tiki drinks, you never think of a stirred down tiki drink.
Exactly.
That's all one. Different. Look at the
that
color
looks like fucking absinthe. So here we go.
That is what is that? That's like Vulcan blood.
Yeah. Well, I mean
that's a good name for a drink.
Vulcan blood. Actually, fuck green and gold. This is called Vulcan blood.
Vulcan blood.
Cheers to the Vulcan blood. Here we go. Cheers to you guys. Happy Monday.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
I had no idea how that was going to taste. That's great.
It's pretty fucking good.
Very good. Obviously, elements that you would expect: the cocoa, the mint.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like an adult grasshopper in some way, shapes, and forms. It kind of is reminiscent of that.
A little
and it
bit.
is sweet.
The mint,
it's very dessert.
Yeah, but it's long. It's actually what I like about it. Obviously, grasshopper is quite a rich kind of drink. It's a bit gunky after a while. That's lovely.
Yeah, and it's short enough that when you get to the end, you're like, yeah, cool, I'm done with that.
Yeah, it's good. It's quite a short progression initially, but like that finish obviously stays with you. Yeah, I think obviously the complexity of actually, you know what? A lot more comes out in the finish.
Yeah.
Like it's that big minty hit at the front.
Yeah, for sure. But then you get all of this beautiful like citrus, gentian, and also like peppermint gum.
Yeah.
Like the eucalypts.
It's actually the finish is where all the action is.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a really cool like after work special. Lucky Lobster. Wow, it's only me. Yes, it is.
Is this
Welcome
lemon?
to Instagram. Oh yeah. Well, we should put that over.
Is
the
that
top.
what you intended to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna think it needed a little.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of
lemon. Spritz. Well, doesn't need it necessarily, but I can think that
let's
would
chuck it
add,
in, and
add
I
to
think
it.
it would. That's the one. Garnish with a lemon twist, people.
To the Federation.
To the Federation.
To the
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
We're drinking a bit of Vulcan blood. That's what we're drinking. So it is 50 ml worth of Starwood whiskey, 10 ml worth of Oak Gold, 10 ml worth of green creme de menthe, and then 15 ml worth of Falernum with 10 drops of cacao and macadamia bitters from Mr. Bitters, which is an Australian-based company. Ciao, Joel. Enjoy.
Thank you, Joel. I do know who you are.
It's damn good. I ran out of your gin. So sad. Lucky Lobster. I'm so sorry. Head to our website and order some more.
You have got great eyesight.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Head to our website and order some more. We always love a little bit of gin love, and then tag us on Instagram and do all that kind of cool stuff. And if you join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do these live streams, so you can always learn how to use it. But holy balls!
That's tip top.
There you go.
So check this out. Give me another cheers. So you know about that one more time. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So we're like smashing our glasses together, having a good cheers. But I was doing a bit of research that into stirring. I found out something very interesting about glassware. Another pop fact. So a lot of the, we all know there's a big difference between bar glassware and the glassware you get your local IKEA or Salvos.
Or Kmart.
Well, there's a particular technique that goes into this.
Okay.
So a lot of it's made famous through a company called Duralex. If you're ever in a bar and you open up your glass, look at the bottom, drink the drink first, obviously. Yeah, and then you look at the bottom. So Duralex was a French company, and it's a specially tempered glass.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. It's a technique called Saint-Gobain from 1665.
Fuck.
Very old. The idea being that you temper the glass so it can withstand the stresses of heat and cold. If you just use like kind of a regular delicate glass and you put very hot or very cold, it cracks.
It cracks, yeah.
Exactly. How they do with this is when they're making the glass, they heat it up to about 600 degrees Celsius and then cool it very quickly. And then do that again.
And it tempers it.
Tempers it. So that's how you're going to get to it. So
that's freaking awesome. Now, further proof that Henry can make drinks. Thank you, Kirsten. Yes, I can actually make drinks. I am a bartender originally. I do know what I'm doing.
And he can dance.
I can dance as well, but that will not be demonstrated this evening. Now, dude, we need to get
Depends if that's what the people want. People, if you want Henry to dance, do let us know.
No, I don't.
On the message board.
We don't want to dance.
Just let us know.
But here's what we need. Here's what we need to do.
Okay.
Now we're already at an hour, so we need to get on. We need to
I'm ready
get
to
on
crack
because
on.
we've
I've
got
done everything I brought. So.
we've got to get on to like our stirring versus shaking cocktail.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. And then we've still got what's that bitter taste in my mouth and funniest home cocktails to get through. So we need to motor it on. Unfortunately.
All right. Well, let's take one. Let's take one stirred versus shaken.
I think the daiquiri is a really good option.
I think it's a good option.
I think we should do a stirred versus shaken daiquiri on both accounts.
So we're having a little think about like how do we best illustrate what makes a stirred drink kind of important. And we were like stirred versus shaken, which is kind of quite a classic. We were talking a bit about it earlier with the Vesper, which is obviously kind of quite famous for it. So we're we're going to do a stirred daiquiri versus a shaken daiquiri, and we're going to do it for that 35 seconds that we talked about earlier. So if you were paying attention, we'll know that the dilution is going to be the same. Now, it'll probably be a little over dilute, because that's not what you normally want, but it's all about like how do you get the drink to it, and what does it feel like in terms of that gas influx, in terms of that actual flavor differentiation. Here we go. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Sugar.
Sugar syrup is right there.
Fantastic.
So, are you able to make both of these, and I'll stir one down?
I'll put it down. You can keep chatting.
Now, where does the daiquiri come from? Like, that's what I want to know.
Well, swathed in history, swathed in myth.
Oh,
the original fake news, Henry.
The original fake news.
The original fake news.
Yeah.
What's the rum? Ah, very good.
Yeah, Havana.
Okay. I mean, I've got a theory, but I don't know if it's the same as your theory.
Yeah, please. No, well, I actually don't know where the daiquiri came from, to be honest.
Well, one of the most popular and kind of well-regarded theories involves an American engineer called William Jennings Cox.
Yeah.
Who was in Havana, in kind of near the town of Daiquiri in 1898. So back then, America was pretty much the top dog in Cuba. Cuba was like, unofficially the 51st state.
Yeah.
And he was back at his kind of like engineering, villa. Then had some buddies over, and they were just messing around with some rum and some lime juice and some sugar. Almost certainly the drink had been created before then. Yeah. But they happened to tell the Yankee about it. And he happened to tell all his buddies, and that's where it kind of came from. I think that's the most plausible explanation for a daiquiri. Yeah. So William Jennings Cox, 1898, the town of Daiquiri in Cuba. Yeah. But don't quote me on it. I mean, thank God we're not talking about the margarita, which has about six equally valid
theories of how it actually happened. So do you want to stir or shake?
Well, I'll shake.
Alrighty, no stress.
I'm intrigued. Can we start a timer?
Do you have your phone?
I got my phone.
Beautiful. Let's start a timer on your phone.
It's going to be quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, pop that in there. Beauty.
Beautiful.
Alrighty.
Hold on a second.
Okay. We are grabbing a timer because we want to time this specifically to 35 seconds and see what we come up with. Here we go.
People, do we want to see who thinks it's going to taste better?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I've never had a stirred daiquiri. I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah, me neither.
Or not. Like, I've never had it before.
So please let us know which one you think is going to be better, whether shaken or stirred. Put your votes in. We are making a daiquiri for those of you who might have just joined us. So please, we are stirring a daiquiri and shaking a daiquiri. See which one works better. Let us know.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, well, I'm gonna.
We're off.
It's a long time.
Papa likes mambo. Mama likes mambo. Shake it up and shake it down. We didn't think you're ever gonna frown. Papa likes mambo. Sing it. Mama likes mambo. Shake it up and shake it down. Whenever I think we're gonna frown. Oh, and that's it, people.
There we go.
Longest 35 seconds of your life, no doubt.
Jesus. Ooh, okay. Okay.
I mean, it's going to be a little bit chunky. Well, look at that. I mean, for the question about volume that we had earlier, as you can see, I mean, that's about twice as long as that shake and drink.
Yeah.
But it looks great.
But this is what I mean. So the level of dilution is exactly the same. It's all to do with...
Yeah, it's a little more ice in this one. So don't be fooled by the higher level because we couldn't strain it. Look at that. Look at the color value. Yeah. Hold it up to the camera a little bit more.
It's like the color difference.
The color difference alone is huge. With the shaker, you get that lovely pale jade look.
Yeah.
This looks a little bit sickly almost, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you mind if I take a little bar spoon of this?
No, please.
Because you can have the shaken one.
I think we'll end up swapping it. My mother says, well, shaking looks like more fun. It is true. It's always more fun to shake.
Yeah.
as we all know. However, the trade-off is if you're stirring a cocktail, you get to have more chat with the attractive-looking customer you just met.
This is exactly right.
This is exactly true.
Well,
that's what are you doing?
Well, I want to find like a COVID-safe way.
Well, let's sip from other end of the glass.
Okay, that sounds good.
Really? You're worried about COVID when we're sitting right next to each other? I just realized we're not even socially distancing.
Yeah, never mind.
Fantastic.
Stirred for martini, absolutely. Well, that goes without saying.
Personally, it's lovely.
Use that end of the
I like
glass.
it. Use that end.
Cool. That's the winner.
That's fascinating, isn't it? They both feel equally diluted. You can actually taste that.
Yeah.
In terms of the balance of the drink, but
mouthfeel and the acidity comes through.
The acidity, yeah.
And so the dryness
from the driving the gas into it.
Actually shaking a bit of nitrogen into the drink is really, really helpful to just accentuate the acidity and dryness of it. This is far too sweet, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's beautiful at first taste, but you can feel that halfway through this, you'll be like, I want to knock it back.
Yeah,
there's no pleasantness, but that's lovely. It feels fluffier.
Far out.
Isn't that? That's fascinating.
It's such a fascinating thing. Like next time you have the booze and the opportunity, try a difference between a shake.
We're talking about a Negroni tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
A really cool drink to see the difference, like as a switcheroo.
Yeah.
Where it's better with the I say it's better with the stirred down, but we're also talking about a drink tonight called the Shakerado.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're ever in Sydney, go to Continental Deli.
Yeah.
And ask Mikey for a Shakerado.
Absolutely.
Which is the best shaken Campari drink you'll ever have.
And also, just by the way, Continental Deli is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. One of the best places for a great cheese plate and a great glass of wine.
But also service. It's just, and design and everything
Mikey's
else.
phenomenal. Like Mikey's just the best.
He is. He's good.
He's a great egg, and he just really
he's a great egg.
But the good thing is he fucking gives a shit. Like he's one of those like characters who actually just gives a shit.
In terms of shut out. He gives a shit because he's not doing it for your benefit. Because he genuinely just loves to be.
He genuinely
loves to see people having a good time.
Just a huge shout out to Mikey, dude. You're a fucking legend.
Cheers,
just
Napoleon.
by the way. Cheers to Mikey from Continental Deli.
Cheers to Mikey and everyone at Continental Deli.
Yeah, please. Cheers, guys.
When are you going to open up that Melbourne branch you've always wanted?
Yeah, exactly.
You've been talking about it for years, Mikey.
This is what we're talking about.
It's true. God, that's a difference. I mean, you don't have to struggle through that, dude.
I'll struggle through it.
Yeah, you want a bit of this?
No, trust me. I'll
Lovely, good. Shaken versus stirred.
Guess what, guys? It's now time for one of our favorite games of the evening. Here we go. It is What's That Bitter Taste in My Mouth? So,
huge.
Here we go. This is it.
I'd forgotten about this part of the night.
That's all good. Oh, here we go, guys. So, if you're joining us for the first time, we like to play this game called What's That Bitter Taste in My Mouth, where we blind taste Amaro. It's not about being right. It's about trying to figure out what the hell's going on in the Amaro world. Simply
put, glass of water?
You'll have to go to the sink.
I'm going to get a touch of water there.
No worries. Because basically Amaro is a super confusing field where, especially like through Italy and through Europe, you've got a million different Amaros made from a million different things. And to be perfectly frank, they don't really share a family other than being made from a base liquid. So a base alcohol, then a bittering agent, and then a sweetening agent. That's the one thing they all share in common. So you probably know of an Amaro like Campari or Aperol. They all count, but there are tons in the world that you don't know of. Now, it is time. This is the one we have this evening. It's quite dark in colour.
It's certainly, there's almost like a, on the edge of the palette, there's like a greenish, yellowish kind of look to it.
Yeah.
Like it's tawny, but it's not as dark as something like Fernet, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is quite dark. Now, Andrew K, he's still trying to decide what rum he wants. trying to decide between Mount Gay rum for $49 or Flor de Caña.
Andrew, what are you doing with it? Like, is this just a general purpose rum? Is it for impressing girls?
Is it for cocktails? Like, and which cocktails in particular?
Do you want to? Is it a real rum? Is it meant to be something a little bit more like primo? Give us some chat, and we'll.
Is it supposed to be something funky that you want a bit of like that, the DDL funk to it? Like, how specific are we getting, my man?
Is it like Parliament?
Yeah.
Like kind of funk?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Is it Ute Flute kind of funk?
Absolutely.
You need to let us know.
Or is it more like Kajagoogoo?
Yeah. What are you doing? Is it agricole? Like, do you want an agricole rum?
That smells.
It's actually really quite.
It smells almost spicy.
Cocktail. Well, which cocktail, Andrew? Which cocktail? There are so many rum cocktails out there. If you're making a jungle bird, go for Mount Gay. If you're making an
air meal, maybe go for something like golden, like, you know.
Yeah. If you're making
especial.
If you're making something stirred down where the rum is the hero,
like a left hand.
Yeah. Like
left hand coat, you want maybe Diplomatico Reserva or something.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Flor de Caña would be the way to go. I'm not well versed enough in rum to have a strong opinion on funk. That's totally fair enough.
Tell me this: what do you want to drink right now? If you had to drink a cocktail right now, we'll give you the rum.
Yeah, for real. Now, what do we get in terms of
It's spicy. It's
spicy, but it's
super spicy.
Again,
not like a hot chili spice though.
Alpine characteristic. It definitely has a bit of menthol on the nose. Bit of that mintiness.
I feel that I feel I've got some ideas to this already. But it's a little bit sweeter on the palate.
Absolutely.
Than I was necessarily expecting.
Were you going to say Broncomenta?
No.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Braulio.
Oh, no, sadly not. It is not Braulio either.
You can see why I think it.
Yeah, I can see where you're going.
But the palate, the nose made me think Braulio, which is wonderful if you ever get a chance to see it.
Really
Braulio, an Alpine Amaro from Italy. Lovely, big, tall, skinny bottle. Super fresh.
We connected over that. I remember we were both like, oh, I fucking love Braulio. And you were like, I fucking love
great.
Braulio.
It's not super hard to get.
Yeah.
And it's a really different, if you want to like get a range in terms of Amari, it's a really good one to have in there.
Yeah.
But the palate is richer than
absolutely. Now, do you think it's old world or new world?
I feel old world.
You feel old world? You sure?
Yeah.
Want that in?
Yeah.
It's old world. Yeah. Absolutely. You're completely right. Now, do you think it's from Croatia? Do you think it's from Italy? Or do you think that it's from Hungary?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Hungary? I only know of one from Hungary.
Yeah. So do you think it's Croatia, Italy, or Hungary that came up with this?
I'm going to go with Hungary.
You're going to go with Hungary. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you just doing that because it's like a law of like...
No, because now you mentioned it, and I've had the only one I can remember from Hungary.
Yeah. Okay, it's from Italy, so
okay, so it's not Unicum.
It is not, and technically Unicum is. It's not Unicum. No, it's not.
Yeah, which is fun. Unicum.
Unicum is fantastic.
Funny name. It's spelled exactly how it sounds, people.
Yeah, and it's very.
It looks great. It's got this little fat grenade-like bottle with a big cross in it. It's like it looks like death and tastes like it.
Yeah, it's actually very nice. It's very cool.
It's fun.
No, so this is from Italy.
So this is Italian.
Yeah, this is Italian.
So
now, do you
is this from the Varnelli family range? Like Via Anateco? In that case, I wouldn't know what it is. That was good. I was about as close. I thought it felt something. It hasn't got the color for it. But the Tonico Digestivo, but that's like quite funky. So no, close I can get.
No, it's not that.
But it's got alpine notes. It's high altitude. I feel
it is definitely high altitude. Do you think it might? Well, do you think it's from Venice? Do you think it's from Lombardy, or do you think it is from Piedmont?
Piedmont.
No.
Ah, shit.
It's Lombardy.
Lombardy.
Yeah.
Very good.
So this, funnily enough.
It's a shame, because someone once said to me all the most delicious things in the world come from Piedmont, and that's what I had.
Lazzaroni.
I have never had this.
So Lazzaroni, this is actually a little known Amaro from Lombardy, but it is done in very much a Fernet Branca style.
Can I have a look at the bottle?
Yeah, please. Very much done in a Fernet Branca style. It's really easy going though. It's a little bit more pulled back, but it is kind of a representative of the Lombardy region. There's not too much information about this on the internet.
I've never seen it before. Where did you source it from?
Dan Murphy's.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Dan Murphy's.
Wow.
Cost me $32.
That's good. That is
very
that
delicious.
could be
For
like your
32.
bargain of the week, people.
Yeah.
That's
damn
a
good.
poor man's like Braulio.
It is. It's a poor man's Braulio.
It's lovely.
Really well put together, very well structured, and just really quite fucking delicious.
Delicious.
So Lombardi, cheers to that. Because guess
Votre
what?
santé.
Oh, here we go. I just poured myself a glass of Unicum, coincidentally. Oh my goodness.
Katharina,
There we go.
you're a hell of a girl.
Well, Andrew, if you don't have an opinion on funk, I think the Mount Gay is the way to go if you're using a cocktail. What rum for a painkiller?
Well, I think actually I'm going to throw that one to the audience.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What rum for a painkiller?
What is the classic rum for a painkiller?
Well, I think you'd be hard pressed to find that, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's quite well known.
What? What?
Yeah. There is a very specific brand. Is the classic rum for a painkiller. In fact, there was a bar that was involved in a serious lawsuit. I know why all this. With this rum brand, because they named themselves Painkiller, and this rum brand sued the hell out of them and ended up losing a lot of business over it in the US.
Fuck. Okay.
What is the classic rum for a painkiller?
Well, we are going to find out, that is for sure. But guess what, my man? It is time to play our final game of the evening. Are you ready?
I'm going to wash my mouth out with porter in preparation.
Well, I really think you should, because it is time to play Australia's funniest home cocktail. Here we go. Funniest home cocktails.
Fantastic. What a time to
Boy,
be a
oh
young
boy,
man.
what a time to be alive.
If only I was.
And I tell you what, have you ever made a Blue Diablo?
I mean...
You're about to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all of those letters have been involved at some point in my cocktail history.
You're going to need that lime juice.
A Blue Diablo.
You're going to need this.
Can we have some history to the drink?
Nope. I have no history
We
with this drink.
have Espolon, representative tequila, one of my favorites, actually.
It's actually a really damn good tequila if you are in the mood.
It's great. When I was working in the Hazy Rose in Sydney, fantastic bar with Harriet Lee and Dominic Easter.
Yeah.
This was our house, and
it's
absolute
very,
banger.
very good.
Voc, an Australian-made brand.
Yep. Very good.
Blue Curacao.
Blue Curacao. It's the way to go.
Say no more.
So, you're going to need to shake
Lime
this
juice.
bad boy, I do believe.
You know I love to shake.
I know you love to shake.
I'm going to take my jumper off.
Oh, please. Yeah, no worries. Get your shaker ready, because we're about to hit it, and we're about to hit it hard.
Okay, here we go.
Are you ready?
Here we go. Hold on. Well, what's the elements to it?
Well, you're about to find out. You're going to watch the lady do it.
Let me ice this up first.
Yep,
Big old
please
chunk.
do. Big old chunk. That's the way to go. Yep, you got it in there. Boom. Are you ready? You
Talk
can
to
see
me,
the
Sydney.
screen? You can see the screen. You're all good? No, you don't need that. She free pours. Alrighty.
Okay.
You ready?
Hold on.
Fantastic.
I'm ready.
Alrighty, let's rock and roll.
I'm Janae.
Oh, I love Janae.
And I'm going to teach you how to make a Blue Diablo.
Oh, dear me.
Do you love this girl?
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to make a blue margarita.
I love
What
this.
you're going to need is 1,800
Now, if anyone has ever never watched the old-fashioned episode, watch the old-fashioned episode from this
the
bar.
old-fashioned
It's like
episode.
cult. And they actually did one like last year where she was
Yeah.
like 10 years older and they remade it. But her old-fashioned episode from this series is
just phenomenal.
you know, you can't beat it for a good night.
The whole thing is
If
just
you have one of
sensational.
those drinks, you'll have the best time of your life.
This is very true. Here we go.
Here we go.
curacao,
Sweet and sour.
lime juice,
Lime juice.
this kind of tart lime juice,
What is this?
whichever you prefer.
That is
And I like
The last cocktail? Orange juice.
orange juice.
Okay, well, this already sounds delicious.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. We're going to serve this margarita up.
I'm gonna take my sleeves up for this one.
Rocks the salt. Up.
Oh, we're gonna do margarita glass.
But I always feel like with the
Let's finish this.
Diablo, it's
Okay.
better if it's up in martini glass. Let's go ahead and put 1.5 ounces of our 1,800 tequila
Can you give me a salted glass, please? Don't need it. What am I doing? Tequila?
Well, let's find out. Sorry, I missed that.
No, it's okay. I heard 120 mils. We're gonna free pour some lovely tequila.
Now, blue curacao, for those of you who don't know,
Blue Curaçao's next. Oh.
orange flavored port. The only
Yeah.
difference is the blue curacao, of course, is blue. More fun color.
Where does the blue come from?
Tiny splash
Don't know.
of lime juice,
Tiny splash of lime juice.
half ounce of sweet,
Half ounce of sweet and sour, which is that.
and then just the tiniest.
Is this sweet and sour?
And just the tiniest, yeah. Just the tiniest dash.
Tiniest splish splash. Osh my
Tiny
gosh.
splish splash. Oh, there we go. Have you put lime juice in that? It's just over there.
Oh, okay.
So you
Is
need-
that not the same thing?
No, that's sweet and sour.
Sweet and sour and lime juice, people. Now that's
go.
what I call a free
This is
country.
what we're talking about.
That's what I call a free country.
And now it's time to shake it, baby. Here we go. We can hear it. Oh, we can't hear it. Yes, it's all good. It is Blue Monday. Oops, Puss's rum. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Hello, Liz. Good to see you. And boy, oh boy, let's get ready to shake. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah! Shake it. Oh, wait.
Now that we have all of our ingredients mixed with our shaker,
We're ready.
we're gonna go ahead and shake it all up.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it's that short.
Is that his own?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was it.
Sure, I was going to do longer. Not 35 seconds, obviously.
And now strain it. I'll give you a little bit of salt.
A little bit more, people.
Sorry, that's all the salt you get, unfortunately.
Whatever.
Oh, dear me. That is a pretty goddamn disgusting drink.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry that
she's
wasn't
a nurse now
translated.
and she's got a family. Look at the colour though.
It's... Well, look at... Yeah, okay. I'm sorry that didn't translate at home. I'm sorry about that. I totally fucked up the no volume. I'm sorry about that, guys. It didn't quite
But
go
it's a
through.
classic. Look up the old-fashioned.
But point of the story, we have tequila in there, we have blue curacao, we have orange juice, lime juice, and sweet and sour, all in the same drink.
So if I can use another Star Trek reference,
Yeah?
it's the colour of Romulan ale.
Yeah, here we go, Romulan ale.
Romulan ale and Vulcan blood.
Let's see what we're cooking with. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great. Oh, boy. There's a bit of...
Maybe we should take another sip.
I feel uncomfortable.
I think we should take another sip, just to be sure.
Yeah. Why are you saying ha? I don't love it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's not the worst drink we've had, but it's not the best.
Let's take one more sip. Third time lucky. You know, sometimes you need to challenge your palate.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little bit better that time.
Yeah, right, fair enough.
It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not amazing. It's not amazing, but that's okay. That's all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Brendan, thank you. Bon
It's been
vivant.
fantastic.
Thank you for joining us again.
It's
Guys,
been wonderful to see you all.
it's been wonderful to have you all this evening.
I don't have any more pop facts. That's fine.
That's it. We've got no more facts for you, but I tell you what, please
No
join us
facts.
again this Wednesday at 6:30. We'll be joined by Rick Marston, the fantastic bartender.
Rick Marston,
Yes.
that guy is a dude, and he's
He's a
also his
fucking
hair is
champion.
beautiful these days.
It's a
He's been
beautiful
grown
mullet.
out for about 2 years, and it's all long.
It's a beautiful mullet. He'll be joining us from Black Pearl, so please join us for that. It's going to be a fun night of super interesting drinks.
Black Pearl back and open for drinks.
Yes.
Hopefully staying open.
With Tipo 00, so it's going to be
Absolutely
tons of fun.
stunning. Go up there. Go up the attic is where they're having the dining situation up there.
Absolutely. It's
Pretty
going to be
cool.
It's really, really cool. So please join us for that. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are out of here. Brendan, thank you again. We will see you again very soon, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Give me a high five.
Good night,
Good night. God bless America.
Here we go.
Fuck Trump.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.